Good evening, everyone. Kyle from the Galliard group here, and before we begin, I have a very important announcement to make because my very first book, The Rise of Kip Miller, is out now on Amazon Publishing and Barnes & Nobles in ebook, paperback, and hardcover format. If you like sci-fi stories about brotherhood, camaraderie, exploring alien worlds, spaceship battles, and laser gun fights, this is the book for you. The Rise of Kip Miller by Kyle Keener. Links in the description, and now, on to the video.
It's not like we're ever going to get monetized, but in the event you ever would, that would be the time to really start talking about buying a house.
Why are you talking
about stuff?
Why buying a house now?
Why, John? Why are you talking about buying houses now?
The thing about buying, the thing is, when it comes to advertisements on YouTube, real estate ads pay the highest ad revenue in AdSense when it comes to this. So if you get a house commercial or a car commercial on your channel, that's the one that pays the most. But we ain't gonna do that. This is dirty money that's on. But
sometimes you know what? Sometimes I still wonder why in the hell do these car companies pay the weirdest channels to have their advertisements be played? Like, why are you playing your car commercials at 4 a.m. on a kids show and the whole bunch of kids that watching and there's no parents around? Why? The
whole unemployment television on Adult Swim.
Why? Well, it's not just that. I think the main reason for that is because, they're not paying attention to the channels themselves. They're just looking for the figures. If it looks like they're performing well, if it looks like they got subscribers, they're going to throw money at it because they don't know this. They don't know the landscape.
Yeah, so it's a flex. So they don't care. If anything, it's a privilege for the channel to actually be accepting money from them.
And you see that the government started a whole 15-year car payment plan for Americans.
So what does this have to do with Carens and places of power, though?
You were the one. You were the one I was talking about buying real estate before we started this episode.
Because I'm leading up for you to explain it. Mm-hmm. Never mind.
I gotta take it to hear the spirit before we start. And it so happened where I'm about to be. I'm about to be in redneck country for the next 4 or 5 days. I'm gonna be home for Thanksgiving, but we're doing another redneck land job.
Oh, well, good luck.
Trump's America after ICE came to Charlotte and deported all my customers.
Oh yeah, I saw the map and I was like, good Lord.
You got rid of all my customers with the SNAP benefits going away, and then you got rid of them again because you deported them and you kicked their teeth in and dragged them into a car, and I'll never see them again.
Fell for it again award.
So realistically, shouldn't
my entire commission's gone?
So shouldn't it be easier to get green cards now because that I don't know. Yeah, shouldn't now the line isn't as big?
If you pull up that Family Guy eye-colored shark card meme, it'll be easier for those people. That's so good.
I'm not so sure about that.
All right, get into this. All right. We are going over Carens' Place of Power. We've been putting off this book for a little while because there's not really anything too crazy to talk about. Because usually when it comes to World Darkness games, me and Kyle make up our own locations.
Pretty much.
When we did Disco by Night, Dan, I think I only used 3 characters from pre-established lore. That was Radu B. Street, Francisco de Polonia, and Joseph Panders, and that was it. Usually I make up all the stuff on my own. So when it comes to books like this, I usually don't use the material in it. Unless it's really lit, and then I'll use it, but typically not. So that's why I really never had any sort of passion or drive to cover this book. However, we came off the heels of DC by Night, and DC by Night is directly tied in with this book, and thankfully you guys gave me all the good pages. We split this up. We went through this, we cut up who was going to do what Karen for this episode, and you gave me all the good ones. I didn't even pick, I picked last. I got the remains, and I got the 4 best ones.
Oh, I can't wait to hear you brag about how good your Karens are.
I got the best ones too, and we got a lot of different writers to speak to. I'll go over a little bit as to who wrote each one, but we have a limited time window. I gotta get up relatively early in the morning so I can go to redneck country, so I'm gonna set this up on a timer. I am going to set this for 10 minutes. 10 minutes will be the hard cutoff time. And when we hit 8 minutes, I'll give you a 2-minute warning, and then we have to go on to the next segment. Now, Dan feels we have to introduce what the concept of Karen is, even though I feel like we're on episode 116, I think, by this point. Look at our channel.
We can
We've
go
gone over the
real quick.
concept of Karens, but it's more along the lines of like what exactly
115.
defines a Karen.
Yeah,
Like more in
I
detail
feel like,
of it, and also
yeah, I
because
feel
it's
like
like when
this
you're
was
operating a
self-evident,
Karen.
so I never really spent time going into it. And if somebody doesn't know what a
Right.
Karen is by this point, I don't know how to help you.
What's more along the lines of how to
Just
operate
looking
a
up on the
Karen in the
wiki.
game.
Yeah,
Just
It's
looking
more
up
along the
on
lines
the
how to.
wiki.
Yeah, like everybody knows what Karen is, yes, but in terms of actually running a Karen, like in the game, what is supposed to be like, and like what is to be expected. But also,
it's the home base. It's also well, base and home. You gotta combine the two because yes, the whole Garou Nation is a military movement, but you still need to have an actual community. This is why I like the Philodox so much because the Philodox is actually a home maker in these games, which is why I tend to gravitate towards them the most, along with Galliards. Inns the Road was probably an exception. That's probably the one only time I'm going to play in our rune. And then that's it.
I mean, like, there's also just like I also messaged this to you later that like the examples that they give in the book, like as detailed as they are, I wish they'd have actually gone over what it is that makes their Karen moots different from all the other ones. Because I mean, if you're going to be operating a Karen, you have to think about all the Karen moots and what events are going to be going on.
They
and
did a little bit of it in the Storyteller's Guide and the Player's Guide, but
did they? Okay.
Yeah, it's not that deep either because they gave a few examples of what a rap passage looks like or a little bit of a moot looks like, but it wasn't for every tribe. We got ideas. We have a perfect idea as to what the Bone Arts and the Glassworkers do. They went to.
I mean, it's not just
long
about tribe.
descriptions.
It's not just about tribe, though. It's also about the location and the culture that you surround yourself with. Like, for
It
example, if you're based in, like, say, Alaska, there's probably going to be some events that involve snow or like maybe sledding or making snowman or something like that.
True.
Or like there's going to be things that you need to that I wish they'd actually had more examples of in the book, but I just think that they probably just didn't really go into a lot of detail because
really
I mean,
written.
and the maps suck. The maps are so inaccurate.
Yeah, they're very zoomed in. Very much zoomed in.
They're just
not
wrong.
Great.
They're just wrong. Like,
Dan's a professional cartographer. He can tell you about this.
I love maps. I do. I love maps.
He's the master of the maps, as they say.
I mean, shut the fuck up. But
it's
not those kind of maps.
Yeah, usually when it comes to Karens and these structures, you have an alpha who's usually the most violent and crazy member of the werewolf pack who's going to drive all of you into the ground into your deaths. And then it's followed by a beta, and then there's usually these different ceremonial positions like the Master of Challenge, who gives out the rite of passages and decides what you gotta do for your promotion. The Warder, who makes sure that everything's fine, nobody's actually invading the Karen or anything like that. A lot of positions that I feel like are pretty self-evident. That really we don't really need to go in depth with this.
Honestly, you only need to have. I think the only important ones. There's actually 4 you kind of really need to have, and the rest are all just extras. Because you can operate a Karen, I think, at least with 4 Garou. All you need is a leader. You need a leader, keeper of the land, master of the right, and a warden. That's
the master of the right is like your chaplain for that section. It's
absolutely.
That you're the one who's in direct communication with whoever the totem is or the head spirit of the Karen is. You talk with them, you set everything up, you make sure the packs are going well, you make sure there's being fed, the gnosis that they need, or whatever specific sacrifice they ask for, and then everything should be fine if you do that. It's easy
Pretty
enough.
much.
I would also say that you also need a gatekeeper who's in charge of opening and closing the moon bridges.
See, the thing is, not all Karens have a moon bridge, though.
Yeah, because some of these
That's
are
fair.
some of them are not that big. A little bit more treacherous to get into than others because apparently Junker Emperor just posted a picture. Matt McMuscles went to Bloodlines to Masquerade 2. Very quick on that. Ah.
Wait, who did?
Well, it didn't take long at all for that game to be a financial failure. I told us so. I told us so. I exactly knew what I was talking about.
I think they also expected it to be a failure too, and it couldn't have been avoided. So.
Yeah, I told you this game was going to kill the fandom, and sure enough, it did.
Oh yeah.
And so here we are right now. We're carrying on the corpse of a game that nobody's going to play anymore, but you know what? We still have space to provide. So that's why we're doing this.
We're still giving her.
Hey, look, we are improving the space that, Paradox is trying tirelessly to kill.
You gotta give her.
Let's just keep doing this stupid idea that loses money. That'll eventually turn a profit, right? we'll eventually get somewhere with this, right?
We'll get bought out by 10 cents sooner or later. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, the same thing that happened to Ubisoft, right? You just gotta keep running your company to the ground until a foreign interest buys it.
Basically.
Someday aliens will find copies of this and they'll be
illegal
very
aliens.
happy.
Yeah,
They're going to be like, no wonder it's a nuclear blasted hellscape. They got to deal with this shit.
And how do we want to go about this? Do we want to go through these Carens in chronological, in alphabetical order that they appear in, Sans, like Spell, Dancer, Hive? Or do you want to take turns, like I do one, Kyle does one, Dan does one, Shane does one? Do we want to do it like that?
Yeah, I feel like that'd make the most sense.
I personally prefer doing it in medical order, but it's your channel. I'm fine with whatever.
Dan, what do you think?
I mean, like, alphabetical order works, but I mean, it also would be easier to just, like, do one person at a time. But, yeah.
I think alphabetical order might actually be a good idea, because then we'll just, like, we'll all follow along with the...
With the book, that makes sense, yeah.
All right, so this... We'll begin with the Black Furies section. I will get a 10-minute timer going for me after I introduce this guy. This was written by Phil Brucato. I feel like we know who this guy is by this point. We've got this man's name multiple times over the course of these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Very small Karen.
Yeah, and his wheelhouse is usually mage and werewolf. And this guy wrote Digital Web, the Bygone Bestiary, Technomancer's Toy Box, Order of Hermes, the Syndicate book, the Euthanatos book, the Dream Seekers book, the Cult of Ecstasy book, the Sorcerer Chorus book, the Void Engineers book, the NWO book, Sons of Ether book, Akashic Brotherhood book, Verbena book. Name something in Mage he had a connection to it. And then we brought him in to do a werewolf book. And that's the master plan here. All right. 10 minutes on the clock, starting now. Since the Sept of the Bygone Visions, it is on Ecube, it's as the Greeks call it, and it's called Myria by the Furies. It is an island in the middle of the Aegean Sea that is 95 miles off the coast of mainland Greece. It is almost entirely now made out of stone. There's very little greenery proper on the island, but somehow trees will just grow out of the stones, along with a lot of other vegetation. There's one very fertile crest in here that we'll talk about in a minute, and there is no real way to get to this island. It is surrounded by a sharp stone that will tear your ship apart if you go on this ocean at any time. At like any moment there's like wind or a storm, your ship's going to get fucked up. It's going to get torn to shreds. Don't even try it. A helicopter can't land on here because there's no place to put an airstrip. And you could go here by helicopter, but seems the island itself repels a helicopter because a wind will appear out of nowhere and push the helicopter back. The only real way to get here is by going through a moon bridge. And in case you're wondering if the Greek government has anything to do with it, it would have, but a bunch of Greek witches legally owned the land and refused to sell it. Funny. The cliffs are 300 feet off the ground, by the way, just in case you're wondering how hard it is to scale this island once you reach it. You remember the Princess Bride moment where you get to the Cliffs of Insanity? That's exactly what we're talking about here. It's a impossible fortress in the middle of the sea that is impossible to invade. And the Black Furies know this. As to what's called the Sept of the Bygone Visions, the totem that owns this place is called Themis. She is the Dream Weaver. She is this very capricious spirit that gives you a lot of good shit, in all honesty, when you take a patch with her. She gives you a permanent dot in Wisdom Renown, a permanent dot in Enigmas, and a permanent dot in Gnosis. As long as you have no men in your pack, you have no Glassworkers in your pack, and none of you ever take a Glassworker gift. Because she knows about Weaver Ascending. She's seen the future. She knows that's how the story is going to end. And she refuses to aid the Weaver in accelerating that process from happening. When you get to the Glen itself, you've got three big landmarks here. The pool, the womb, and the circle. As for everything else, it just shifts. The island just constantly shifts. It constantly rearranges what it looks like. You want to know why? It's because it's absolutely filled to the fucking brim with wild spirits. They're everywhere here. The trees will just uproot themselves, walk down the road, and plant themselves again. The ground will shift. The waterways will shift. Everything about it will just change except for these three places because of all the spirit energy that's in those three places in particular. And what those three places, the first one is the pool. Now what the pool is that it's a 100-foot deep lake filled with the clearest water you've ever seen in your life. It's like looking through a window, not really looking through water, because you can see the bottom of the lake. And if you stare deeply enough, you'll get a vision. Either past, present, or future. Sometimes it's real, sometimes it's fake, depending on what Themis wants you to see at the time. In the Umbra, this place looks exactly like it does in the Material Plane, by the way. The only place that changes is the womb, which I'll get to. When you go into the Umbra, by the way, there you see all the spirits around. Specifically Glade children. You know, the little kids that will appear in your tree and will swing around your tree on little vines and will jump down and stab you in the neck if you try causing any trouble. And when you're in the pool, by the way, I don't think you drown. I think you can just like sleep in the water and you won't drown. You sleep next to water too, and you'll just feel chill. The water makes you feel nothing. As in, any sort of emotion you had going into it, it's blitzed from your mind, you feel nothing. The second landmark is the circle that was created after Pegasus came in too hot and landed smack dab in the middle of the circle, causing a giant fire explosion that permanently burnt the land and created an 18 diameter circle where nothing ever grows. The Black Furies then set up a bonfire pit here, and this is where they do all their different rites, where the old ladies with the saggy boobs and the hairy nipples will come here and do their witch rites. And that's going to happen to you someday, too.
That's a descriptor. Fuck.
And then you get to the womb, which is this giant hole in the ground that apparently the spirits just carved out themselves. It is a perfect circle in the earth, and if you fall down the circle, you die. The only way down the pit is that it's this slowly spiraling clockwork, not kind of clockwork, that's the worm that does that. But it's this little ramp you go down that will take you to the very bottom of this hole that goes deeper. I think it goes all 300 feet down. And what's at the bottom of the circle? Treasure. You remember the Freebitters camp with the Black Furies? Everything they've ever stolen over the course of, 12,000 years is kept in this hole. It's their treasure trove. Is where all the loot is.
It's like the vault room in Sonic Adventure.
Is this place accessible through the Umbra? No. They've modified the Umbra, and this place just does not exist in the Umbra. You can only access this place through the material plane, and that's it.
So if you dive down the hole, then would you just splash into it like Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah.
Probably not. No, it'd be more like
and all
Peter
your bones
diving
would
into
know.
Scrooge McDuck pile.
And by the way, that moon bridge, it's called Hecate's Gate, and it's a perfect kill zone. It's a 13-foot triangle gate that you can only get out through the corners, and all the women will just snipe you to death from this one spot. This is the only place you can go into, and that's all there really is in terms of descriptions here. As for the history of this place, well, this place wasn't touched for years and years. It was discovered by Pegasus, who realized this would be a really good spot to put all their stolen shit. So he just went over here. All these different wild spirits joined them too, and then they just kept filling the hole with stolen shit, and that's what happened. And at one point, the Orthodox Church controlled it, and then the Turkish controlled it, and then the witches bought it, and then the witches have given that land to nobody. This is the spot where the inner Calyx meets, those grandmas that control the world. And no tribe is allowed here besides the Black Furies, and definitely no men. But the women of the Children of Gaia, Stargazers, and Side Striders can come here. You can come and go, but you cannot visit the womb. That has Black Ops knowledge, you're not allowed to know this. And once upon a time, the Shell Lords used to come here, but back in, I believe it was 1832, the Shell Lords got jealous over how much favor the Black Furies had. So they burnt down this villa that was on mainland Greece that was giving the Sept all their food. And then they invaded the villa itself with the Galliard, and all of them died from the Black Furies. They never actually reached the island. They summoned these spirits called the Wave Riders, as in the ocean itself, to drown them on the way over. And the moon bridge was closed. Now you might be wondering, what happens if you try to cross the closed moon bridge? You get sent into Themis' dimension, which is a little piece of flux that she picked off, where you are tortured and shown all these different demontation visions that will eventually kill you from insanity. You're given two options to leave. If you deny both options of mercy to leave, she kills you. And this is what happened to Gamfimus, who tried invading there during Nazi Germany times, where the swords of Heimdall, whose asses were chapped over 1832, tried to bomb this place from orbit using Nazi technology, and it didn't work. Black Furies are still there. And then they tried again in 1868 when a bunch of women said, hey, we're a bunch of black Gevfimmer's women abused by our husbands, give us some passage. And then it turned out, it's a Trojan horse, and they all died again. So 3 different black Gevfimmer's L's happened in this place. The Black Furies caused the 3 losses in Gevfimmer's history. And they all happened here. So that goes to show just how fucking impossible this place is to invade. I have 2 minutes left. As for who owns this place, next to nobody. There's only 14, 13 women in here at a time, and that's it. And those 3 women are Iona Kinslayer, who is a woman that lives forever because one of the treasures they have here is the same chalice that vampire Elizabeth Bathory was drinking out of. As it turns out, if you do that, it gives you eternal youth, if you do that. And she shared it with everyone else on this island, too. So she lives forever, so does her friend Kyra Firefoot, so does her friend Kalanoke Wildhair, and so does Teresa. Now, so how they rose to power, Iona was the master of the visions who was getting all these different messages from Themis during this time that predicted that there was going to be some black shadow that would cover the world and that they needed this sept in particular to hold on for the apocalypse to come. And her good friend Tyrus was the guy that helped her out, kept her going. He survived torture from the Nazis, didn't break. He was brought back. By the way, he's a man in the Black Furies. He's the one man that's ever been on this island. He was baptized in the same lake and was given a woman's name, Teresa, for his troubles. And the whole thing going on with here plot hooks is that Iona is a starch Amazoness who hates men and believes that the Black Furies need to hold on to her way. And Kyra Firefoot says, this is stupid. I love you. I'm the master of all these rights. She knows every right from levels 1 to 4. She knows them all. Every one of them. And she's here because of that knowledge, but she's constantly going back and forth with Iona about changing. And then Kalanoke is this Machiavellian bitch. She's trying to wait for one of them to win the argument so she can take over. And then your other kinfolk that live here, you have a bunch of witches that live on Crete that will Moonbridge over. And then what looks like 20 different wolves that live in the island and then just hang around, and that's it. And now I'm out of time. So that's the Sept of Bygone Visions for you. What do we think?
I think it's kind of neat how they literally just chill on an island and then just decided to bring forth the divine wind to keep their island safe.
And then the ocean will eat you like Moana if you try to invade it.
It's basically Themyscira.
It is.
What he said in the chat.
I mean, nothing wrong with that, but I mean, like...
And is this place going to be used in your game? Probably not, unless you have a bike free in your Cairn. In your pack. Probably not.
They still probably won't even let the whole pack in.
I mean, if you're nearby and you need somebody who knows all the rights, I mean, it could be handy.
Yeah, you got this one woman here who's basically a plot device to help you get through your story. And there we go. And shall I go into Sept of Awakening now? This is written by one Harry Heckle, who wrote barely anything for the World of Darkness. I'm struggling to find books this guy worked on. I think his name was like Harry L. Heckle IV was his name. And he wrote stuff like, almost like Gillian Deloy a little bit. But he wrote Orpheus Shades of Grey. Cool that he did that. The Virtual Adepts book, the Dark Ages Werewolf book, Apocalypse, parts of it, the Hinga Yoka book, and Wraith the Oblivion Haunts are some of the stuff that he wrote.
He's got a pretty illustrious resume as far as the World of Darkness goes.
Yeah, pretty good. And he managed to stay around after the complete collapse of White Wolf that was Wraith the Oblivion, and they had to rebuild their staff all over again because that book. Kyle, you notice that there's a massive staff change when Wraith comes around.
Oh, yeah.
Colossal staff change. Because he said, you gotta get off your project right for Wraith. Oh, all right for Wraith. And then they just quit. That's basically how it happened. From what I understand. And, right. Sept of the Awakening. Oh, by the way, for greater context to this part of the book, make sure that you see our DC by Night video, because this plays directly into it. I'm going to say a few names that you probably won't know unless you've seen that video. My clock starts now. This is in Haynes Point, Washington, D.C. It's a level 4 Cairn with a gauntlet level 4, but there's an even easier spot to step sideways in a minute. The totem of this place is called the Awakening, who's not even fucking alive. He's dead. The Eagle, who is the same Eagle from the Silverfangs, but he never went along with Falcon's bullshit, which is why he's here. And Rat, with the capital R. And this is right in the middle of the East Potomac Park. The southern part of it is right where the Washington Channel, the Potomac River, and the Anacostia River all meet in one spot. It's a pretty defensible position. And yes, like we said in the DC by Night video, this was Croatan land, and it was that for years and years until they did the sacrifice and disappeared. It was then occupied by Black Furies, who tried their damnedest to occupy this place. Eagle liked what they were doing and was their totem at the time. And they were able to hold on to that land And they did a pretty good job fending away the worm spirits that want to take it over and turn it into shit. Until Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson decided that this was going to be the capital, George Washington surveyed the land and said, yeah, looks good, let's build a capital here. As it turns out, the Black Furies did too good of a job maintaining the land. It bit them in the ass, right?
Yeah,
and then the War of 1812 comes around, the British come over. As it turns out, the Venture and Toreador were not in the British Army. It was the Black Spiral Dancers amongst the British, who immediately made a beeline for the Black Furies. The Black Furies realized that they were fucked. There was no reinforcements coming their way. They were cut off from everything else. So they did right after Scattering, which is you just get rid of the spirit energy in South of Cairn. All the Black Furies died, and before the Black Spiral Dancers could really reap any sort of reward, the Tremere killed them. Remember that hurricane, the tornado that the Tremere summoned? Yeah, they just wiped the board, and then we had no vampires or werewolves in this area. And then, of course, you had, I don't even remember what the fuck the Brewhouse name was. That's how inconsequential he is. The story came up, said that he was Prince. No one cared. He died. And then Marissa, the Tremere, stepped in and became the world's strongest woman during this time. Where she continued to just gain influence and influence. You know that she did all the environmental stuff in DC, where she fixed them all, did all this greenery stuff, made DC look pretty. The Defiler Worm herself looked at what Marissa was doing and said, hey, would you mind going on down south and killing Martin Luther King for me? And they did. Marcus Vattel then seized the opportunity, killed Marissa, and then it was probably the Defiler Worm who left in that locket of Sybil, by the way. It might have been her who did that. And then Marcus Vattel has his massive crash out, and then the events of DC by Night happen proper. And ever since that moment, DC has been a fucking shithole since 1968. There is worm fucking everywhere, Kyle. And
yeah,
the Bone Gnawers took it upon themselves saying, hey, we gotta do something about this before the Black Spiral Dancers set up a hive here. So they ran over, and they were trying to find a spot to make, I hope this is picking up my microphone, trying to find a place to set up a cairn, but it was fucking impossible because Scrags, even though those are basically the Goomba of Banes, were everywhere. And so they were trying to find a spot until they went over to this one section of the Potomac River, where they dug around, and they were trying to, like, they got a tip from Rat saying the secret to finding the Black Spiral Dancers and the worm is here. You gotta find it. And if Rat tells them it's true, then it has to be true. And then they found what looked like a giant dead body. I mean, like a Jack and a Beanstalk corpse is what was in the ground. And the Bone Gnawers realized that this was the key. This was going to be how they were going to fight the worm. They did this massive rite to try to revive the giant, only for his big toe to come alive, and that was it. But I haven't given up yet. There was a guy called Soda Drinker who led the rite, and he says if we give this guy enough gnosis, eventually he's going to come up and fight the worm for us in DC and kill everybody in here, and everything will be great. And so that's why it's called Deceptive Awakening, because they're trying to wake up the giant. And that's why it's called that. And did it never happen? Well, it never came up in Apocalypse, so I guess not.
Well, that didn't go well for them now, did it?
So the whole point of this cairn is that they're getting like bike pumps of gnosis, trying to like balloon it into this giant's chest. They're smashing it with both hands, going, live! Live! They're trying to get this giant to wake up, and he just won't.
It's like Frankenstein, give my creation life!
And in terms of what's going on with the Bone Gnawers, you're fighting for your life every damn day. Kyle, how much evil shit was going on in DC by Night in that vampire book alone? You go into the Umbra, and it is fucking shit. Because the Weaver's everywhere, and the Worm's everywhere too. Wherever the Weaver goes, the Worm follows. There are monsters everywhere in DC. You cannot go outside for anything as Bone Gnawer, because you are fighting constantly. In the street or in the Umbra. There's a picture of the Lincoln Memorial, and it is covered in worm spirits. I'm going to go over there.
Oh yeah,
as it is in game 2.
Yes, it is covered in worm spirits.
But there is a little bit of irony, because that pool of water right in front of the Lincoln Memorial, as it turns out, that river, not even a river, that pool has a step sideways difficulty rating of 2. 2.
Well, that's probably how they're getting through. In all honesty.
Yeah, you just have a homeless man jump into this water, and he just disappears. Nobody knows what happened to him. And
ran into that water.
And then with the sept itself, as for what goes on here, it's led by Mother Tamara, who is a white liberal who grew up in a conservative family and hates her family, hates their redneck ways, and became a liberal. And that's her whole character. I'm not even shitting you.
Great.
Sounds accurate.
He's one of those self-loathing white people.
The Father
Jeez.
Thomas Wormbaiter is from this Carens, so
He is. And along with this too, you go around with the Bonars. As it turns out, these are the most well-spoken, eloquent Bonars you will ever find, because they debate every day. They're not fighting. As for what these debates are, usually it's about political shit, even though they're all on the same agreement anyway. DC is a blue city, and it will always be a blue city. So the book itself says every single Bonar in this sept is a left-winger by design. And they're so left-wing, they say the litany is fascist and needs to be destroyed because it was made from a bygone, bewildered area reflecting a time that no longer reflects the modern day, that is pissed off every Shadow Lord, Gethfirmus, Black Fury, and Silverfang, to the point where they refuse to help them because of that. They say, let these anarchist liberals die in DC. We're not going to give them any sort of help. And of course,
It's so blue, it might as well be red.
and they're spending every day fighting Phoenix here. I told you about Mother Tomorrow already, who's the leader of this place. We didn't have Father Thomas Wormbaiter, who the book describes as if you had Marco Clark Duncan combined with James Earl Jones. And that's his character. And that's it, really. You have Cracked Teeth. Kyle, you know what a bug chaser is, right?
a bug chaser?
A man who intentionally gets an STD.
Oh, Jesus, no.
So this is a crackhead with broken teeth who went out and found somebody with AIDS and got AIDS from them for political purposes. As a political statement.
Fucking stupid.
And that's his character. And you then have William Cameron, who's a glassworker. He's not even a bonar. And if you need somebody to Jew for you, he's the guy to do it, because what he is that he is a serial litigant lawyer who is constantly suing the government or local government agency like OSHA, where he says not doing enough, or Environmental Protection Agency for not doing enough. He's currently in a fight with Nostrum Enterprises, aka the military-industrial complex itself. You know he would be busy after 2001.
Oh yeah, he would be on a tear with that.
And you want to know who's giving him all of his evidence? Art Morgan, the Gangrel.
Common Gangrel W.
And then you have Michael Atreides, who is a bonar, who was a former Black Fury who was thrown out for being a man. He killed a Black Fury during his rite of passage, and he says that all feminists are fucking stupid, and that feminism is not a real ideology, and that the Black Furies don't even have a right to exist as a pack, as a tribe. And that's his character. And then Bloodliquor's in this book. So as it turns out, Bloodliquor is a character after all, Kyle.
How about that?
And he is a bonar hitman for hire. And you want to know who his main client is? George Lawrence, the Nosferatu. You know, the same Nosferatu who is a teacher and now has a backwards cap and plays basketball all the time?
Oh.
And he's a lupus too. He's a lupus bonar hitman.
And he chain smokes with George Lawrence.
Yeah. and that's it, really. That's it. I managed to finish with 50 seconds to spare. So what do you think of that?
It sounds like just the Vietnam of just like
why is that the best? Why is that the best Karen? I don't know. Just wood chipper, please.
Oh, it's because you're fighting for your damn life all the time because you cannot let the Black Sparrow dancers control this land. Because after all, Marcus Vattel, anarcho-terrorist that he is, just let them in.
No wonder DC is in such terrible is in such a terrible situation
sucks.
now.
Actually, that's not true. I actually kind of like DC. That's just me.
You go to a tourist part of it, but then,
well, I don't know. Like you go to the Wharf. It's actually really nice,
and all of your clients are in the bougie part of the city too.
Not necessarily, no.
I mean, Fairfax County or like McLean or Tyson's Corner.
I mean, that's all Virginia. That's like all the snooty people that don't want to live in DC proper live in fucking North VA.
Okay. Look, just because it's on the peak of the Piedmont region does not mean it's not any less part of DC.
Yeah.
No, if anything, it should be.
Still like to visit DC. DC. I just have to take a knife with me.
Yeah.
And bear spray.
Take a machete.
Well, I mean, no, not really. It's like as long as you stay near the mall or near the wharf, then you're pretty much good to go.
Dan, did you take Accepted the Western Eye?
I did.
All
and
right.
This
is before you start. This is written by Richard Strong, who I have no information about. when it comes to this. I don't even think the White Wolf wiki has a link to his name.
All right. Well,
yeah, he's the guy who's behind Valkenburg Foundation. Just let you know.
Oh,
which makes sense. Actually, there is mention of the Valkenburg Foundation in here because, Anyway, I'll start. So the Scepter of the Western.
Your clock begins now.
Okay, so the Scepter of the Western Eye. It's located in Murwood National Park, and you know where that is? You ever seen? Yep, that's in San Francisco. But you know what kind of forest it is?
Mm-mm.
It's the redwood forest.
Oh, the big damn trees.
Oh yeah, those big damn trees.
Yeah.
So it's a level 3 Karen. It is a gauntlet of 3, and the type of Karen that it is, it's a Karen of wisdom. Yeah. And the tribal structure is actually pretty interesting because it has 2 tribes that run it, which is Children of Gaia and Uktena. But it's also open to all tribes as well. And the totem is a Lewis frog. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Alias.
Alias frog. Yeah. So, geography-wise, it's not that. It's actually average size, at least according to the book. It's about like 50 miles in diameter, 50 to 100 miles in diameter, and the center of I guess you could say the heart of the Cairn is located somewhere within a it's kind of like a fortress of trees that are hidden by a mask of fog. And when all the tourists have been kicked out and all the kinfolk say, "Okay, thank you for visiting. Time to go," they open up the cairn, and that's when there's like an invisible area they can go to and to say, "Hey," and that's where the moods all happen. Right. So history-wise, to sum it all up, it was actually originally in Uktena. In the Uktena area that was founded in Mount Tampelius. I don't know how to pronounce that. And
Tamalpais.
Tamalpais, thank you. And it was right around the time after the arrival of Sir Francis Drake, who wintered nearby at Point Reynos in 1579, when there was a kind of a barrage of white men that just started arriving one by one. And when that happened, the Uktena decided to start casting powerful magics. What were the purpose of these magics? Nobody knows. They might have been deviations of the future or wards against the coming of the invaders. Whatever the purpose is, the magic went away and caused a cataclysm. So, you know the San Francisco Bay area, that whole region of water? That never used to be there. Back in the 1600s, the early 1600s, there was a gigantic earthquake, and it basically it used to be a very large chasm, but then the earthquake kind of opened up the ocean, like in the Pacific Ocean, like came in and just started washing everything up, and now there's like a gigantic pool and like there's water everywhere. And then and now that's why we have the Golden Gate Bridge that connects the two between the ocean and like and all that such. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so over the years there was a whole bunch. They kind of got the shit beat out of them by a whole bunch of white invaders. Yada yada yada. There was malnutrition. There were spirits and blights that happened anywhere. They're getting their asses whooped, and it wasn't until the early 1900s when they actually held a moot and invited only the leaders of the Children of Gaia, because they, for some reason, were the only tribe that they actually trusted them to actually maintain peace between the humans, so that the Uktena can concentrate on spiritual affairs. Right. Because what was going on, and what they actually decided on was that, okay, you take care of the whole material world affairs. We'll take care of the spiritual aspects of this Karen. And don't ask fucking questions. And they didn't. And it maintained that up until and that's happened until even up until the 1960s, when the last leader of the Sept, Duncan, was it Duncan something? Yeah. Duncan, what's his face?
I was looking at his name too.
Let's see.
Yeah. It was
Actually, where the hell is it?
But yeah, keep going.
yeah. Anyway, back when he up until he last died, and his successor Celestine Snowtop, which is also she also calls herself Tea Tree, became the new leader. And that's kind of how things are going. Now, the reason why I actually chose this sept was because of a podcast that I watched of a werewolf game that actually took place in there, and they actually covered it pretty well. I think they're called I think they're called Final Show Films. Shout out to him because
I have seen them,
they
actually.
yeah, but they actually portrayed the Karen being kind of interesting because there is a bit of a political mishappening is going on because they're being suspicious as to why all the Uktena were being promoted to certain jobs of the Karen, even though they didn't exactly meet the right prerequisites for it. Because they have a master of the right who is a Galliard, and when it should be a Theurge, and they have a gatekeeper who is a Philodox, but they should be an Arun, and they have also a keeper of the land who is a Regabash, who should probably be a Theurge, or at least a Philodox, in my opinion. But yeah, the reason why they do that is because their numbers are very, very thin, and they do not want to promote anybody who is not an Uktena to any roles of spiritual affairs. And that's kind of and that can actually cause a rift in the game if you ever want to play something like that. In terms of like characters in the sept, I'm not sure if there's anything quite as interesting. You have Celestine Snowtop or Tea Tree, who's this old time black lady who was actually a beatnik that was all part of the Flower Power civil rights movement back in the 1960s.
Yeah,
and
she was left winger back when it was hard to be one.
Oh yeah, that whole kind of thing. I mean, you have Abel Hart, who is just who is this large Arun guy that knows when he's going to die. He has that flaw, and he is going to be fighting the best he can against the worm anyway. And he is a good boy. He is a very good boy. We have Tim Brotree, who is not really that interesting, trust me. And we have March Lion, who is
Not a lion.
Not a lion, just a March Lion, the person. And he is a Galliard who actually likes being a Galliard more than being a Bane tender, which he was kind of forced to be in because
nobody likes being a Bane tender.
Nobody does, but I mean, things happen, and because he had to maintain the secrecy of the Uktena and the spiritual world, because anything that might come out to the other tribes of what exactly happened with the cataclysm, like that could cause more Banes to kind of erupt. So
2 minutes.
Things had to happen. Anyway, that's kind of how. Then you have Hot Eye, who is Mesoamerican and Indian, and he's
Spinol.
And he fought in the Guatemala War, but he's now a gatekeeper now. And you have Sharon
Morning Cloud.
Sharon Morning Cloud, who secretly had an affair, and now she has illegitimate kids.
Ooh, spicy.
No, their children a
Spicy,
guy. He'll be fine.
Yes. Actually, they're Uktena.
Close
An
enough.
Uktena that mated with a bone gnar of all things.
Who the fuck? Silent Fist that wins.
Silent Fist that wins. Oh yeah, Silent Fist that wins is kind of funny because he likes to he's the referee that just somehow appears out of nowhere. Oh, you guys are getting into a fight. All right, here are the rules. Fight.
I read about him in one of the books. He's cool.
Yeah, have you ever seen Metabots, that show?
Yes.
Not the show, but I've seen
he is the referee in that show where he appears out of nowhere. He will travel anywhere, any distance, just to get to the location.
The judge or Mace Attorney.
Pretty much.
and then there's something in here about like developmental neogenics amalgamated.
Oh yeah, and it's right near Silicon Valley, but I mean, like, this is San Francisco before before shit happened everywhere. So I mean, like, it's out of date, but this is during the time when Silicon Valley was booming, very, very booming. But I mean, there's like also DNA that's located within this area. I think I think it's actually the home of the DNA.
8,
And I'll say I'm
6,
good.
5.
That's all.
All right,
all I can do to
there we
pitch.
go. 4 seconds remaining. All right,
Cool.
there we go. I feel like this place would change a lot considering post-pandemic what San Francisco looks like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Indeed.
Take a look at this map. There's shit all over your city, Gavin.
Yeah, there is.
Well, why don't
I'm the mad.
Why don't the
The whole
COG
thing will
doing
be
a
taken
clip
over
on
by
this shit?
Like, I think in updated times, this will probably be run over by Bone Gnar and just Nosferatu and Bruja everywhere.
These motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You step outside and do this shit.
The thing, Kevin wants to be president after he ran his state into the ground.
Nobody's gonna want you. We don't care how good your hair looks.
Yes. Now here's the thing with what we're about to get into next with the Fianna. So Harry Heckle wrote this book too, but John Gavigan wrote on this as well.
Yes.
And he is a guy who wrote a homebrew free version, a little like free addition to the World of Darkness called Immortal the Gathering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he made his own book on top of this. So this is, I guess he wasn't good enough to keep her on the staff because this is the only book I can see that he worked on. So I guess he was an intern that came in for this and then wrote his own fan book.
I guess so, but either way, I still like this, Karen, because, well, being me, I am the consummate Fianna simp. That being said, this is the Sept of the Tri-Spiral, located in Burnaboyne in the county
Your
of
time
Naas,
begins.
in Leinster, Ireland. It is a level 5 cairn of Gnosis, Honor, and Plenty. It is open, however, controlled by the Fianna, with the totems being Stag and Dana. Located between the towns of Navan and Slane on the north bank of the bend of the Boyne River lies Burnaboyne. It is one of the oldest and most potent cairns in the world. It uses it's named so after its unique tri-spiral design, which is unique specifically to this cairn alone, which actually interlinks 3 particular spirals, also known as the Passage Graves in the area, located at Newgrange, Knowth, and Douth. And the 3 centers form an equilateral triangle, hence the tri-spiral design. So, within these 3 centers are the passage groves, all intricately designed with all these different glyphs for all the different rites that are held within each of them to represent the Gnosis, Honor, and Plenty. Newgrange sits above the River Boyne, and it is a stone circle 340 feet in diameter that surrounds the mound. This place actually acts as a giant lunar calendar similar to that of Stonehenge, and is instrumental in being the host of a number of Fianna seasonal rites. And then you have...
Like Lunasa. Yeah.
Exactly. And so then you have Knowth, which is 1.5 times the size of Newgrange, has 2 passages that lead to the central chamber. It is primarily the place in which war councils are held and dispense Garou justice, where the honor comes in. And then you have Douth, which is the twin of Knowth, and in many ways, and the carvings inside Douth are covered in gold. Riches worth of fairy kings. Matter of fact, it was co-built by fairy kings, to which they had cursed all of the gold laying within, so that if anybody were to steal anything, a terrible end would befall them. It is known and inside Douth as a massive banquet hall with an unlimited supply of cold fresh water and beer. Food of all sorts adorns the tables, and no matter how much you eat, there is still more. All of the greatest banquets are held here in Douth. Only members of the Sept may enter the chamber, including Bron MacFionn, the Sept leader. He discourages gluttony at the table, and instead the Sept leader will distribute kinfolk to food during famines or hard times. It is the Cairn of Plenty. And so, within the Umbra, however, it's pretty much indistinguishable at Burnaboyne. Only subtle changes when the Garou steps sideways, it somehow feels more real than the physical world. Animal spirits will roam around, and sometimes in the Umbra, you may even see Stag himself. And a manifestation of Dana serves as the Cairn totem for Brunaboyne. 4,000 years ago, Brunaboyne drove the worm from Ireland by defeating the Fionbolg, which is a race from Mori, which then created the Tuatha De Danann and the Fianna. The Tuatha De Danann were fairies who fought alongside the wolves to drive the worm from Ireland. They built the cairn together, but then eventually the fairies left. No one really knows why. They left behind Trods in the Umbran Gateway to Arcadia near the firm homeland, and some have even stayed behind. They continued to use Brunaboyne. The city center was a retelling of ancient legends. It was also staging ground for wars against invaders. They even managed to fend off the Get Ephemeris here, preventing the entire capture of Ireland from the Get Ephemeris. Another very rare Get Ephemeris L at the hands of the Fianna, no less. Humans, Ryan have some shit to say to me if you heard that. Humans were not allowed near the bar, but as dark rumors spread about the place being accursed, hunters started to investigate the mounds. In order to prevent these rumors from spreading, the Sept decided to allow humans to visit the new Grange Center and became more of a relic site for tourists to visit. In the 20th century, the Office of Public Works section of the Government Department for the Environment, the Fianna began to use their gifts in order to make sure that the directors of the OPW were specifically Fianna kinfolk to ensure that the place would be unharmed. So, the Sept. Fianna organized their Septs differently from other tribes. The Sept leader, Reich, is responsible for the duties of the Master Challenge and leads the Sept in war. They also have an extra officer specific to the tribe known as the Keeper of the Song, who's responsible for knowing the Song of Sept. The Song of the Sept, every Fianna Sept has to have a song. Part of it is sung at every meeting, so the members don't lose touch with their past. But the song itself will last several weeks, so you only have to sing a little bit of it, but you have to know all of it. And so, the Tri-Spiral Sept, dedicates itself to preserving the Barnaboyne and defending Ireland from the worm for all time immemorial. It also protects its members. It keeps a close eye on any of its kinfolk. There are friendly relations with most other Septs, except the Shadow Lords and Get Ephemeris, go figure. Of the people that reside in this cairn, of course, you have Bron MacFionn, who is the Sept leader and master of challenge, the Rai. He is a Hamid Galliard, and he is, a tall, burly Irishman. He's a black wolf, bright clean eyes. He's got a red beard and a mustache in his Hamid form. He's either incredibly friendly or incredibly intimidating. He's the Rai of Barnaboyne. He is responsible for defending his Sept. He is the Cairn of all Ireland. The High Rai of all Fianna in Tara is his mentor, and one day the position may be his. He'll listen to every advice, consider it, but only his true inner counsel is the one that he'll listen to most. Most of the Fianna mistakenly believe that he makes decisions based on their arguments, but only a few songs of Tears of Gaia have swayed his decisions in the past. The Sept Warder falls to Son of Moonlight, who is a Lupus Theurge, and actually an Ire Funde. A fanatic and alpha, being his nature and demeanor. He is the Son of Moonlight has almost a blood red coat in Lupus form, dark hair and green eyes at 20 years old in his Hamid form. He wants all of Wolves to reclaim Ireland for his own. He is an incredible radical when it comes to Irish liberation, despite being a Lupus. He basically leads secret raids all across Ireland in order to try and liberate the people of Ireland. He's actually born in a zoo in Leinster. The first and largest of his litter, he dominated his brothers and sisters. When he got older, a zookeeper accidentally placed him in a pen with other male wolves, and he experienced his first change through then and fled into the night. And so he spent many of his early days with the Fianna protecting the wildlife of Ireland from hunters and polluters. And that's where he remains, as Sept Warder for the Tri-Spiral. Ale is Guardian number 1, a Hamid Arun, a very fit, flirtatious, and very powerful warrior. She was born to a Catholic family in Belfast, but very popular in school, even though many of her friends were Protestant, pardon me. When, the violence between Protestants and Catholics escalated, they moved to County Met, where she
2
underwent
minutes.
her change. Thank you. And so once she underwent her first change, her mother, who was Fianna Kinfolk, helped bring her into the Fianna lifestyle, at which she surrendered her human name and began going by Ali. And so she currently leads a pack of hunters to scour the Umbrascape and go on many missions to the Fianna homeland and the Arcadia Gateway for the Sept. Very potent warrior. There's quite a few actually really good characters in this. It's hard to get through them all, so I'm gonna.
Cormac won me over. Yeah.
Yes, Cormac Maguire, also known as Cormac, son of Ireland. He is an unusually large white wolf with pink eyes, owing to his metis flaw. His parentage remains wait, what? Were you out?
Yeah, he's albino. That's why.
Yes, he is an albino. He is incredibly determined and commanding. He lives to his word, stands by his honor and glory. He clawed his way to the top of this sept of being one of the most potent warriors. He throws himself into any of his work. Some people mistake his narrow-mindedness as blinding, but he is a survivor first and foremost. Even though he has, sometimes survived when his Karen has not. Suffer not with thine illness. He doesn't drink or revel with the other members of his sept and stays to his duties first and foremost. He sticks by his guns no matter what. He cares very deeply about Tears of the Land, who's master of the right and keeper of the song. She's a Hamid Philodox, maker and martyr. And so she loves Ireland more than anything else. Its culture, its history,
10,
and all of its
9,
land.
8,
And
7,
so basically
6,
her job
5,
is, of course,
4, 3,
keeper of the song. She has to
2,
know all of the
1.
songs. She has to know everything about this Karen.
We've hit time.
Yes. I love this sept. God, I love the Fianna.
They go really hard with the character section in this
They
book.
really did. But then again, the Fianna are characters.
Indeed.
I love characters.
The Karen itself isn't that crazy to me, but the characters make it. For this section.
I absolutely love Fianna.
You have a whole character in here. What was her name? Is it Deirdre? But there's one character in here who does believe in fairies. She does. She doesn't. She has this whole changeling into dreaming connection.
I didn't see that actually. Oh, Deirdre. I forgot to read hers actually.
And then with the Get Frimmers, you see what he's doing in the picture before you go into his the Get Frimmers bit, where he's got the knife in the air, where he's got the little tablets in front of him.
He's got a sword.
Yeah.
That's a whole ass sword.
Yeah. So what he's doing is the form of divination where you scribe letters on tiles and you throw them in the middle of a circle and then see what you can divine from the future based on the tablets.
He was casting the runes.
Rune seeing.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of their rights.
Now this is written by James.
That is exclusive to their tribe.
This is written by Renaissance man James A. Moore, who's written fucking everything apparently. He wrote Aberrant, which we will get to eventually for an episode. Jerusalem by Night, Book of Legions, Speakers of the Dead, The Shadows Player Guide, Book of the Kindred, A World Darkness, Second Edition, Outcast Pariahs, Necropolis Atlanta, Berlin by Night. So this portion is either going to be really good or really bad. Let's see which way we go.
The fact that I read Berlin by Night is good. Is good because it actually is in Germany. So
it was a fun book, but I can't necessarily it was a good book.
So Sept of the Blood Fist. So
time begins.
The Karen is in Schwarzwald. I don't know how to say that German word.
That's German for black hole.
Yeah, but the Black Forest is where it's located. Yep. It's a level 3 Karen, gauntlet of 3, and it's the type of Karen that it is. It's a Karen of strength. Duh. Tribal structure, get a Fenris, but of course, it's closed off to all others, but visitors are tolerated. And totems, it's the wild boar totem. So charge first, worry about consequences later. So the geography, it's hidden in the Black Forest, just by the Rahan River on the other side by a breach of distant Swiss Alps. And the center of the cairn is almost an empty glade with a large stone that has been withered by centuries of storms. And in the middle of the glade are runes covered that cover the markings of the final resting places of many of Get's greatest heroes of old. And the inscriptions would often actually, you would actually read about heroes such as Torgoth the Slayer, Vulcan the Swordbreaker, Baldur the Bright Fang, Lokash the Thunder Howler, Bortash, Mountain Breaker, Lindis, Fenris Pup, and oh wait, there's one strange one that's been scratched off. This has been scratched off centuries ago, but nobody. Don't worry about that one. Apparently, no one's allowed to talk about that one. So anyway, history of the Cairn. So it was founded about. They say that it's actually a pretty old cairn. It was about they say it was founded by Fenris himself at around 300 AD, and around that time it was founded by the Fenrir that fought off Roman invaders back in 9 BC and up to 9 AD, while the Romans managed to conquer most of the Black Forest, they never managed to gain a serious foothold in the area where the Sept of the Blood Fist now stands. And also the Scowls will also brag that the Furies were struck down and they were never able to conquer their lands, because even though the Get couldn't exactly take over that island that John talks about, they'll boast that the Black Furies were never able to take down their proper place, and they tried for 19 years, and they never attempted to conquer the area. Although this is more of a boast, and most people don't exactly believe that kind of boasting and think it's actually inaccurate. But you know what? We'll leave that at bay. The interesting thing about this cairn is its location, because the primary threat of the Sept in recent years has been a continuous influx of Sabbat kindred. And they have, and there was actually one full-scale assault on the cairn that was attempted by a sizable group of Sabbat some 5 years ago, and none of the attacking vampires have been heard of ever since. The primary
Weinstein.
Absolutely. So the Sabbat have recently come to a decision to keep a great deal of distance between their meeting places and the cairn location in the southern section of the Black Forest. Don't fucking go near there. You get fucking killed. However, the Get Fenris and the Cairn were like, no, come on, please come in. Make yourself right at home, as they just start squeezing their weapons very close to them. They're like that guy in they're like that gun owner back in the South who was just waiting for the day when there's a home invasion. It's like, oh yeah, home invasion, get to use my guns, protect my house. They are loving
daggers,
like
Here's put his MVGs and level 5 plates.
In fact, there's actually a conspiracy within the Cairn that the leader, Lars Jonasson, or Large Token, has actually, they could have wiped out the Sabbat a long time ago, but they're actually elongating the war just for the purpose of having something to fight. It's their own small miniature military industrial complex.
Well, that's not even conspiracy. That's just the truth.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, so Lars Turgen, Firemane, who is the leader of the Cairn, cool guy, very heroic. I mean, he's friendly. Just don't piss him off. And background, he had to kill the last leader because people found out that he was drinking vampire blood in order to elongate his life, because he couldn't stand the fact that his age was getting to him, and he wanted to still be able to be strong and fighty. But unfortunately, it got to his head, and the worm was taking over for him, and Firemane had to put him down, and he's kind of upset by that. But at least the worm didn't take over his mind. So he's from
the past.
Yeah,
from the past book.
Yeah, he's trying to come to terms with that, and the warder, Scarthroat Leech Killer, badass name by the way, is actually still trying to come to terms with that because he didn't exactly agree with that whole thing. But I mean, like, but you know how it goes. And Scarthroat Leech Killer, by the way, the reason why I got that name is because he went through the first change at the very moment when he was getting bitten by a vampire. So, like, surprise, bitch.
But not me.
Yeah, I take in the meta plot they've turned on Daryl Lutz, but it's time to kill them.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so I think I'd like to take a moment to express, I think one of the most interesting characters in the Karen, Gaia's favorite child. So, there has never been a keeper of the land until this person came in. They're not a menace, but they are feeble and warped, disfigured enough to possibly even look like one. Her arms are spinal, lacking in muscle, and she seems to have extra joints that should not exist. Her legs are stumps that can barely support her body weight. Her face appears to be covered with a thick, fleshy caul that covers most of her eyes and even a portion of her mouth. She has no visible ears. So, she is basically, she got attacked by a whole bunch of vampires. The vampires took her in, tortured her, used I wouldn't surprise if they used vicissitude on her, explaining the extra limbs. And when the rest of her pack found her, they asked her, hey, do you want to be put down? Would you prefer we put you down and put you out of your misery? And she's like, no, fuck that. I'm either going to die by my own wounds, or I'm going to die in combat. And there will be no mercy for me. So she got up, and despite the fact that she will fight, just not very well, she does her part by being the keeper of the land.
2 minutes.
And it is said that no mercy is shown to any who would dare insult her. Not ever, no exceptions. So yeah. And you have Scat Half Bonebreaker, ugliest motherfucker you'll ever see. He is just covered in scars, but he is actually a pretty chill guy. In fact, he'll probably be the only guy that'll actually be friendly to you if you enter the Karen. Yeah, because when you are going into the Karen to go and visit, like the first thing you're going to be greeted by is a whole bunch of somebody's going to want to fight you. You have to earn your place just to actually enter there. Usually it's just usually it's just like a wrestling match, just a friendly wrestling match. That's all you have to do. Just prove you're fucking tough. We don't want any fucking weaklings being in here. Just give us a reason to respect you. That's all they want.
Right.
And so there's story ideas that they go into detail about. Like there's fairies that have been disappearing and appearing here and there. The Garou have also there's also been an increase in an influx of Sabat who have been sneakily trying to actually get information within the Karen, and they want to actually and they want to reach off to gangrels for actual help, but they admittedly don't know how to actually approach them on that because they're too proud and strong to ever actually want to seek help.
And they fucking killed Daryl Lutz because they realized that he was worm tainting them.
Yep.
And
also Grim is now having a very fun time right there in that Karen right now, killing a whole bunch of leeches.
Congratulations, Dan. 14 seconds to spare.
Cool.
It's not much in terms of defense, but these are good Fenris. you don't fuck with that.
I can handle it.
I mean, they could build up more defense, but I mean, got to give them a chance to, you have to give them some kind of chance.
When was the last time you saw a GOF wearing armor? You don't
armor.
See that. Shanny finally gets a chance to talk with Shanny. Why don't you pick all the ones in the middle?
Number one, them are my favorite tribes, and number two, Dan took the one I wanted to talk about.
The GOF.
But anyway,
Before we
Yeah.
get into this is written by Emery Barnes, who's the same woman who wrote the Carquart section of Axis Mundi, and more importantly, wrote the tribe book for the Glasswalkers. So when I saw that, this time I knew we were in for something good. And apparently, Axis Mundi was the last book she ever wrote. After that, she just dipped. So we're in for something good. Oh, by the way, the trap book came out after Karen's Places of Power, so she was either testing out ideas for that book, or ideas when that book were put here, and then it was just released later. But Shanny, your time begins now.
We're talking about the set of the Council for gosh, Universal Trade. It's located in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
It's level 3. The type is plenty. The tribal structure is Glasswalker, also known as the Boli Zhohija. I said that wrong. I apologize. Zhohija. That's it. Share power with the Bonar Stargazers, Children of Gaia, and their totem is and their totem is the Buddha. Geography is a large part of Hong Kong's forest, covered of the western part of Hong Kong, and the Glasswalk. They claim that part to avoid industrialization, and in that forest lies a small grove of trees, and the largest of all is called the peach trees. That's the bond of the Karen.
Right.
As far as history goes, the Glasswalkers they've had a stabilizing force as in Chinese history since 4000 BC. They lived to help humankind get on the right path and industrialize. Several Glasswalker houses and their kingfolk settled in Hong Kong around 700. It was called the Traders. Search for pivotal next points within the physical world and the Umbra in that hidden growth, the hidden peach grove.
Pause the call for a second. Shane, you're bugging out a little bit, so I'm going to help out with it.
You're clipping out a bit. I was going to bring that up, but I know Johnny's in charge of timer.
It was 700 BC. It was the one Glassworker House, a.k.a. the South Chinese Trading Company. Continue.
Yeah. They had and they were majorly in charge of that care until, and then Europe and Western Asia began fighting, and that's when the Children of Gaia and the Shadow Lords migrated to Siberia and Mongolia, and in 900, Mongols invaded, assisted with the Shadow Lords, and that made the Glasswalkers and Bonars flee from mainland China, and the Children of Gaia came with them, and they went to Hong Kong, and Portugal started a trading post in Hong Kong in 1514, and in 1841 the British seized control of Hong Kong,
and a hustle of the ages.
Hustle of the ages, and the Opium War happened. Then World War II happened. Then the Japanese wanted control of Hong Kong, but the pirates of the South China Sea, who was in charge of the sept at this time, they eventually fought back, and they got a hold of guns or firearms. The Brotherhood House was formed once they got a hold of firearms. Forsaking to wear silk suits and tote firearms, they blended in with the criminal underworld, and that's what got into the mafia style. And in the late 1400s, they took over the Iron Brotherhood took over the post of guardians of from the pirates of the South China Seas. And after the communists was just killing everyone in China, few remaining stargazers fled from China to Hong Kong, and the Sept gave the position of gatekeepers to the stargazers. And in 1956, Hong Kong gained their independence, and that's how it's been ever since.
So Chinese triad pirate werewolves.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Is
And
the-
in this set has to be the only instance of the Glasswalkers and the Bonars together, along with the
no suspicion.
Stargazers. Yeah.
Yes.
And as far as who runs the Cairn, it's Joel Wu, also known as Limitless Hard Drive. She's a mid philodox. She's very obsessed with money, make sure everything smoothly. She's allied with the Hong Kong city farmers. There's also a city farmer in this particular Cairn known as Song Chang. I'm probably
Song
saying that
Chong.
wrong. Song Chang, thank you. Also known as Welcome Rain. He is the warder, and he is also a Galliard.
He's also chronically depressed.
Right. It says in Lupus 4, form he's not Lupus form. In Hobbit form, he has a long, silky beard, bristling with an air of dignity. And one of the guardians is Wu Yang, who is a wise guy with the mafia style walkers. We should talk more about them. And we also have Arthur Chang, who's a Theurge.
It's called Weaving Wheel. That's his deed name.
Weaving Wheel. And we also have Perfecter of Form, who is gatekeeper, orthodox, and a stargazer.
Okay, here we go. Judge Confidant is mission demeanor. So let me see here. He's got a lot of these guys have very simple backgrounds, which is why she's shotgun through them.
Yeah. And this one's particularly interesting. The keeper of the land. Her name is Revenge of the Land. She's the keeper of the land. She's a Lupus Haroon and a child of Gaia. And despite her demeanor is caregiver and bravado, she watches over the cairn of the mother. And she's very, very adamant about keeping it safe. Straight up kill you if you disrespect it.
If you step on a flower, she'll kill you.
Exactly. Her exact quote is, "No step on flowers, stupid ape." Lastly, we have Li Kuei, who's also known as Spitting Buzzsaw, who is master of the challenge and a menace in our room.
Just looking at this, and his whole thing is that he was a pirate in the South Chinese Sea. So a lot of these guys are pretty much on the same page. We're all affiliated with the Triads in a massive smuggling ring. It's basically what the Triads did before China busted them all up, was half legitimate business, half smuggling.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of them are businessmen, some of them are
read for us what Tin Hao does. Their totem. Take a look at this. It's on page 75.
Right. Tin Hao is background cost. The goddess of the sea and fishermen. She's a totem of wisdom. She has a big boot on the 23rd day of the third moon of the new year.
AKA March 23rd.
Yes, thank you. She attunes her followers to the South China Sea. This gives characters an extra 2 dice on all rolls while sailing in the South China Sea. Past storms have stopped passing pirate ships, and storms have sunken enemy ships when Tin Hao felt that her Garou children were in danger. And her ban is she will not allow the sea to be desecrated, and Hao will send storms to destroy those who pollute the South China Sea. So don't pollute.
There we go, Shane. It's a minute and 22 seconds to spare.
Captain Planet.
Is that an episode of Smiling Frenzy just made where Mother Earth tries to kill Charlie for polluting?
I really do need to watch the third season of Smiling Friends.
I mean, Kyle Squim has become my profile picture for a reason.
It's because you love that dumb fuck.
Yes. He did a little dance. He did a little squim, made a little love, and got down tonight.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, if you want to slowly introduce your players out of Werewolf and into something like Vampire Country of the East, I honestly think having a game set in Hong Kong, a Werewolf game set in Hong Kong, would be a perfect idea.
Dude, Hong Kong would be tight.
Oh yeah, there.
Yep. Wait until we get to the Shadow Lords part of this book.
And pulling this out. Also, that Yakuza game, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
There was what?
That was a Yakuza game called Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
That sounds hilarious.
It's a dumb game, but it's a fun game.
Also, I just want to point out, like, why are the Red Talons in Alaska?
Well, there's not much land left for them now, is there, Kyle?
What about Africa? Literally all of Africa.
We're now opening.
Have you not seen Balto?
We're now opening our RTA fund, the Red Talons to Africa fund. We're now
accepting donations. There's a Karen in Africa that's run by the Red Talons.
Yeah, but instead of
going to the Bloody Rock.
Yeah, I think it would have been fun if we got something about the Yachty, but I think I like this just as much because this is one of my segments. As for who wrote this? This is Stephen C. Brown who wrote this. Who wrote the good Clan Book Toreador, not the stupid fucking bullshit second edition Toreador book that I hate to hell and back. It's worse in every way than the first book that was written. Under a Blood Red Moon. Okay, that's a knock against you, honestly. Order of Hermes tradition book. Laws of the Night for the Mind's Eye Theater. And what else is on here that's crazy to me? The Book of Madness book for Mage is what he wrote. And also, he was the guy that I think this is the revised Euthantos. No, it's the original release of the Euthantos book. It's stuff that he wrote. And then, Kyle, he's one of the few guys from the original Werewolf staff that got invited back to do the 20th edition for Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So we got, and he was also in the special thanks for Vampire Direct Room. And I tried looking this guy up because I was thinking, hey, is this guy still around? Is he still alive? Is he still doing stuff? And I looked up Stephen C. Brown, and his name is so generic I can't find him anywhere. Where I'm getting lawyers, I'm getting obituaries. I don't think while I'm posting studio notes, I don't think this is him. I don't think that's him.
Oh, the cowboy hat? No, I don't think that's him, bro.
Yeah, well, considering that this guy died, and he's dead, he's been dead in Texas for years now. But on top of this too, Kyle, I start pulling up this picture. Is it me or am I having a bit of an invasive thought right now with this image?
Hang on, let me see.
Just pulling this up in studio notes. That picture.
What, with the decapitated
That's
head,
you, dog.
or with wolf ass?
He's got an ass, doesn't he? He's
you,
got an
dog.
ass.
Oh, you.
This guy's got.
Johnny, no.
That's dude.
Oh,
that is a
gosh.
flat ass. That's a flat ass.
I got a Hank Hill ass. Can I put that up on screen? I don't know if I can put that up on screen.
We're here. No rear. Get used to it.
There's nothing suggestive about it. You can just do it if you want to. I'm giving. Okay,
You're
I'm actually
the one
starting my
who
time now.
pointed it out.
Yep, this is the image in question.
Clock starts now. Sept of the Weeping Daughter, located in Grimborn Creek in Alaska, right between Mount Bona and Mount Sanford. It is a level 2 Karen, gauntlet rating of 4, type Sorrow. This is the only Karen I know of that has that rating. And the totem isn't even a totem, it's just called the Weeping Daughter, who is a ghost of an Eskimo woman who glows blue. And when you see her, well, just go ahead and say your prayers because you're not going to live to tell the tale once you see her. I think you know enough ghost stories and horror movies to tell where this is going. This is just fucking scary, this entire section we're about to go into. These guys live in a damn ditch that is 8 foot deep, and on the northeast and south side, it's just cavern walls. It's the middle of a burial ground. And if you start getting vibes of Pet Cemetery, that's the point with this section here. There's only, I think, counting the Guardians, around 14 wolves that live in this area. But there's a bunch of horror stories that happen here too, because these wolves are these well, the wolves are haunted, but so are the woods. Because of how many people the Red Talons have killed, and this being a Native American burial ground, there are ghosts everywhere in this area. Ghosts of humans, ghosts of animals. Some of them are covered in bite marks and slashes. Some of them are half-eaten corpses that pursue you through the woods, and these guys chase you through the woods. If you go by yourself or if you're in a group of two, you're not coming back from this trip. And this is kind of stuff that's waiting for you around the corner. That images like this filled this entire portion of the book. It was like dogs and wolves drawn like that is what's waiting for you.
Bring the Silent Strider with you then.
And when you're in here, when you go to Umberscape, you will be swarmed by dead spirits within seconds when you go into this area. If you're not a Red Talon, you're going to die if you go in here. And what do the Red Talons of the area do? Well, there's one in particular called, I believe her name is Eater of Bears, is her name. Who may or may not have had a little bit of influence when I made Insta the Road. Because what does she do? What she does is that she pretends to be a human. She'll dress up in human skins and human clothes, and will pretend to either be a hitchhiker or a woman lost hiking. She'll follow you, and then if you know enough stories about the Wendigo, you know where that story is going. The last thing you hear is that her bones popping in places she forces across from transformation, and then eats you alive. And she does this because she thinks it's funny.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
There's the kind of people that live here. As for the history of this place, this was a Wendigo sept called the Sept of the Open Heart. You can guess why it's called that because a bunch of fucking sacrifices took place here. Wormlings were attracted because of that, and then the entire sept was lost because of a combination of Wendigo incompetence and just because of how many worm creatures were brought here. The
That is a
Wendigo,
goofy face.
the Wendigo all buried their dead, and then they all killed themselves, and then the land became haunted because of that. Centuries later, a pack of Red Talons called the Strongbacks came over here to find that the land was covered in BSDs, who called themselves the Crawlers from Void and the Doom Hurlers. They outnumbered the Red Talons 2-1 at best, 10-1 at worst. We're not given exact numbers. But at, half the pack of the Strongbacks survived. So it's anywhere between 2 to 5 Red Talons survived. After which they came over to a burial ground, found that it was haunted as shit, found the Weeping Daughter, who instead of killing them said, if you bring more people over here to kill, I will protect you. And so that was the pact that was made. What the Red Talons will do is that they'll find people who are completely lost, drag them back to their little Red Talon home, and brutally murder them with the stones that were used to bury the dead, which then create more angry ghosts that they then throw into the woods, and it performs a perfect defense mechanism because nobody wants to mess with this.
Good trade. Good ecosystem.
As for who leads this place, Heart of Winter is the guy who's the alpha here. Who is what would happen if you took the side-facing Chad meme, you made it a real person, and that person was a psycho. This guy, you cannot reason with him. If you challenge his authority, he kills you. And the only reason he has his authority is because he challenged the previous Sept leader, Old Storm Chaser, for that title and won. And Old Storm Chaser, being a Red Talon, says that because he's the strongest guy here, you do what this guy says when he says it. The funny thing is that Storm Chaser's a pretty fun and happy-going werewolf, and then the guy who leads him and took his job is a psychopath. Of course, I went over Eater of Bears with you. Next up is her lady friend, not actual girlfriend, Stands Like Mountain, who might be the best kind of wolf here. I say that, that's a lie. She's actually one of the worst. She's this absolutely cruel sadist who desires to go into the city and cause terror along with Eater of Bears. However, she's not as sadistic or lacking of empathy as her friend. And she sees Storm Chaser as the father she never had. And these guys are all horrible people, right? Except for one, Greasy Fur, who's the only other person who stays here full time. He's fat, and that's his character. If you ever want to see what Shonker Wolf looked like, well, it's him. And he pretends to be human. He goes around in human society. He's their scout, so to speak. And he looked like an idiot, and he talked like an idiot until he came to a near-death experience, where he then realized that he needed to get his shit together, so he did. And now he's actually a pretty competent member of the pack. And that's it. I love how quick and easy and to the point the Red Talon stuff is. They say, what do you want me to tell me about the thing? They say, here's the thing, and there you go, that's the entire Red Talon section. Except, we have the neighboring town of Lawson, Alaska to go over, which includes a population of 3,700 people. Pretty small. I'm about to spend 4 days in a town like that. You have Yorgis Meat Processing, which is owned by Michael Fishbane, who is the guy who raises hamsters and guinea pigs so he can eat them and bite their heads off alive. And is a lady friend, Rachel Rain, who is constantly lactating acid between her boobs. Fun visual.
Fuck?
Yeah, she's also a necrophile, and that's how she got possessed, was from fucking dead bodies. Is how she got her main possession. Next up is Ralph Comic Book Store. And to tell the truth about it, bish, a few black spirals come to my shop, and I sell comic books and tackle and bait. And Greasy Fur comes around here too, if you want to know the truth about it. The Ralph and Male don't play with no werewolf.
God damn it. I thought I could go one fucking episode without hearing his name.
Well, it's Ethan, Ralph, or wrestling. Which one do you want?
I prefer wrestling.
Wrestling! Wrestling!
Next up is Wiggly Mart, where the guy that owns this place is Felix Nix. He works in the butcher shop, and he's a cannibal who finds people, drags them back, cooks them, and eats them. He is yet to run to Eater of Bears, and the game wants you to have these two meet each other. It's strongly implied. TV7 Lawson, which has way too many TV shows for a population of 3,700. I guess it's like 10 people just film each other doing stuff all day. There's no major network affiliation with these guys, so this is just what you do. You just broadcast on TV for an audience of 3,700 at most, I guess. The Monastery of St. Anselm, which is home to 17 different monks, all of them Catholic. And then there's a place called the Werner Estate, which is home to not Werner. It is Delilah Werner Braun. You can tell she loves her husband based off that hyphenated last name, who is 81 years old, who killed her husband by giving him rat poison. And now she has all of his money. And you can visit her.
Nice.
And then the other people around Lawson include Jim Teitelbaum, who is actually Cult of Ecstasy wizard Jim Morrison, who faked his death and moved to Alaska. For some reason.
Hell yeah.
Next up is Robert Neighbors, who is on the cusp of becoming a marauder, who believes that he is Doctor Who and walks around dressed as Doctor Who with a sonic screwdriver. And next up is the militant, I shit you not, phrase like this, the militant lesbian eco-warriors of Lawson, who are Black-Fairy kinfolk. They don't know it yet, but they're waiting to become that. And then Black Dog Gaming has a whole gaming group here of 7 people who are hardcore gamers that believe that they're werewolves, and they're going to be once Samo Hate finds them.
Oh,
and that's your section of Red Towns, everybody. There you have it.
Well, that was unsettling.
This sounds like a whole fucking thing in of itself, dude. This seems like ripe for a story.
So half of it is like scary as shit, like horror story, and the rest of it is just like, why the fuck is Jim Norrison here? And there's a Doctor Who guy.
Like Kyle, it feels like I'm playing Deadly Premonition, looking through that part.
I feel like this is what Appalachia should have been.
It feels like if you want to do,
I didn't do Appalachia right. I gotta redo this.
If you want to do season 2 of Appalachia and have us play as brand new wolves, and you put us through this like weird ass Twin Peaks kind of story, that's the kind of stuff we're looking for.
One of my coworkers absolutely loves that show. He has it on his Plex, and I need to watch it.
And it was good. It was really good.
I heard it was good TV.
Who was Shell Awards? Who took Shell Awards?
I did.
All right. Now the guy who wrote this, this is weird. They brought in Hidenobu Uzumi, who I can find no information about, who only worked on this book, and Kenneth Mayer, who apparently only ever worked on this book too. This 2 guys came in, did this book, and then vanished, never to be seen again. And that's what we're looking at. All right, Shanny,
go ahead and give it a shot.
Righty, I'm going to talk about the set of Ichijio no Modoribashi.
Ichijio Modoribashi is his name.
I promise you, I can say Japanese names. Anyway, the
Your clock begins.
Karen is the Ichijio no Dorebashi Bridge in Kyoto, Japan. Is located in Kyoto. It's a level 4 type
And
Karen
a
of the
little bit more
homeland. I
robot
guess
when you're
it's in
going.
Kyoto.
Getting
It's
cut
what we
off.
can fill in. Yeah, it's a fucking. It's on like Ichijio Street and Horikawa Avenue in Kyoto, Japan. Where it is.
Yeah,
Shannon,
the
continue.
bridge. The tribal structure is restricted to the Haken, the Kitsune, which are called the Nine Tails, and a selected human Mio warriors. The totems are various kami.
Yeah, the Shinto kami.
Again,
So
it's
these are dream speakers that hang around here.
yeah, essentially. Karen is located at the Ichijio Nodorebashi Bridge near the intersection of Ichijio Street and Horikawa Avenue. It's a 10 to 20-minute walk from the Imadegawa station of the Karasumaru subway line.
I'm pulling this place up in Google Maps as I speak.
Yeah, you get off a train and you have to take a bus from the Kyoto bullet train. Fare is 150, 250 yen, which is like 2 or 3 American dollars.
It is. It's smack dab in the middle of the fucking city.
Exactly,
That's
and
risky.
humans tend to enter the cairn without even knowing. Can just let this happen. Very good defense. The
Hiding in plain
Umbrascape
sight.
is the cairn. In the Umbra, the cairn is much more beautiful. No car. The city still exists, but it's more beautiful. It's it's achieved its own ideal perfection. And as far as history goes, it's been fought over between the well, originally it belonged to the Nine Tails Werewolf,
Yep. And
and
then
the
fucking World
Haken.
War II happened.
Exactly. Essentially, what happened was the tribes splitting up. Some followers went east. They eventually became the Haken. They fought. They were fighting this particular cairn with the Nine Tails until Bushi clan of Japanese vampires showed up, and they the Haken and the Nine Tails joined forces to keep Karen from the vampires, and then the Western Shadow Lord showed up thanks to World War II, and the Shadow Lords are gonna the Shadow Lord their thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
but unbeknownst to them, the Nine Tails, who are clever foxes, set traps that the Western Shadow Lords take control of the cairn. And ever since then, the Nine Tails had a truce with the Bushi as well as the Haken. And that's it. And that's essentially it for the history. As far as the Japanese Garou as a whole, you can't. It's it's fair to call them Shadow Lords, but they're technically not. They're not too fond of the Western Shadow. They tend to. They're more like essentially the Haken are essentially a Japanese samurai werewolf is what I liked is what they are.
Right.
They follow the Bushido code. They're very honorable, and now I'm going to talk about the sept itself, the personalities. The leader is Shikara Hataka, who is a Hamid Arun.
Mm-hmm.
She's a he is an stocky athletic type.
He's a
He
karateka,
married
aikido practitioner, judoka, kendo practitioner.
exactly.
The
And some
master of the martial
shadows
arts.
exactly. Some Shadow Lords laughed at him, but they weren't laughing after they got their heads cut off by a Kana. He was totally not caring. The Karen warder is Katsutoshi Hongo, who is a Hamid Philodox,
Right.
who's a Yakuza. So here's your Yakuza.
Here's our Kazuma
and as
Kiryu
far
of the Sept.
You know this guy is up to his balls in work with the Kuei-jin.
most likely, actually, it says he recently had to move his turf to Kyoto because of some vampires took over his turf, and he's waiting for his revenge. And for the night, oh, yeah,
I was going to say he was originally from Tokyo, but the fucking Kuei-jin chased him out, and now has to start all over again in Kyoto.
exactly.
Yeah.
And for the Nine Tails, there's Ayaka Jinai,
Yes.
who is a AG
They are equivalent to their own.
EJI. Yeah, she's a warrior. She's very tall and very beautiful. Wears purple and black clothing. She stares and she wears a golden moon-shaped locket. She stares at it when she's bored. She grew up among a family who hated her. She never knew her father. Her mother died when she was 7, until she met a young Gyokindo sorcerer, and she didn't know of her destiny as a kitsune until then. And she is a guardian of the cairn. And next we have another Nine Tails, Kazami Hinatsune, who writes Gatekeeper and the Master of the Challenge.
Like that. So, and he's old.
Very old.
Yeah.
He seems he does not speak much, is an aloof and expressionless most of the time. So he fits the stereotype of the wise old Oriental.
Yeah, he's the G-san. His whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have a Western Garou, Andrei Darkov, who his deep name is Horns of Lightning. He is a Philodox Shadow Lord. His nature and demeanor is Predator and Alpha. He's blonde. He's very well dressed. He have a likable personality. For those with good perception, may be able to discern his venomous personality. So he's this typical Russian Shadow Lord.
He's also a KGB agent too. That's the whole
Typical thing. Shadow Lord behavior.
Yeah.
And he's trying to take over. He's trying to take over this particular sect.
That's why I was saying that, like, it would have made sense if Putin, like Vladimir Putin, was Shadow Lord kinfolk, but with what's going on and how many Slavs he's killing, it doesn't make sense anymore. He's been BSD'd. And there we go. 2 minutes to spare, Shanny. The defense for this is that there is no defense for this Karen, but you just don't know it's there.
Hiding in plain sight.
You know, exactly.
I in plain sight. Kyle, what kind of games can you run with this?
I don't know. I would hope to play a fucking Yakuza game.
See, and then the whole the opening to Dan was playing in the back of my mind when I was going through this.
There you go.
Haita, 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 haita. Ishida haikiri saki kirawaita. It just goes through your back of your mind the entire time.
You know, I was hoping that the Karen would actually have as little of anime influence as possible. But
it's unavoidable. It's Western literature written about Japan.
But now that I see that there isn't any, I don't know, it's kind of a lie.
It's unavoidable, Dan. It's called World of Anime for a reason.
No.
It's kind of unavoidable.
Go away.
I get because it's 1, it's in Japan, and 2, it's Shadow Lords.
Yeah, I think what happened here is that, like, some intern wrote for this book, and he had a Japanese friend in high school, and the Japanese friend was from Kyoto, and he told him about all the stuff in Kyoto, and he just put it in the book, and that's what this was. And then that was the scheme. All right, Shanny, you took Science Writers too, didn't you? Or who took the Science Writers? Who did Science Writers? Was that you? That was you, right?
I didn't take it. Here, let me double check the list.
Whose line is it anyway? It is Shanny.
Silence Writers.
Yep.
Yes, I told you that.
So the person is Sam Chupp. And his big wheelhouse was Wraith. This guy wrote about every damn book in Wraith the Oblivion I'm looking at, except for the guild books.
Well, I mean, that's good given that he's writing about the Silent Striders, and that's their whole shtick.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
this guy might be the best hope we have at perfectly marrying Wraith the Oblivion and Werewolf the Apocalypse. And even though he was the big guy on Wraith, he was invited back to do Vampire the Masquerade, but not Wraith the Oblivion, because Wraith the Oblivion stuff was almost entirely new people. So he was another guy that got brought back for 20th edition. Going into this, Sept of the Wheel of Ta. I've been asked about this multiple times. Shanny, your clock begins now. Let's go ahead and
The
take a look
Wheel
at
of
this.
Ta, it's located in Casablanca, Morocco. It's a level 5 Karen type crossroads. The travel structure is open to all. It is controlled by the Silent Striders. And the totem is who is an incarnate spirit who Ta.
Yeah, you don't pronounce the P.
I say it either way. I've usually said it either way. So the incarnate spirit who chooses to manifest his power in a special temple consecrated with his power. Temple forms at the center of the cairn. And this particular temple, which is also in Bonn, is called the Mosque of Fa.
Yes.
An ancient building that has changed many hands many times over the centuries. Been rebuilt time and time again. There's a particular character that watches over this mosque. I will get to later. On the street from this mosque is Siduri's Cafe, an American-style nightclub tavern.
Damn it!
Sure.
What?
It's just like the movie. It's the movie.
Oh.
Yeah. I haven't seen the movie, but I know what you're talking. But yeah, this particular cafe is stored to the Hotel du Jasmin. And they're open and operated by Silent Strider.
Cool.
And as far as the history goes, it was discovered by a pack whose names have been lost to time. This tale is always told at every Strider. Their names are Night, Howl, and Wind. Their real names have been lost to time. And one stargazer died of song. They went through forbidden plains and rough jungles to gather 13 clues which led them to this particular set. On the upper floor of the Mosque of Alpha, a small shrine honoring these clues. The chronicle of the quest of the wheel does not state at what point the cairn was raised on this spot. Some believe that this particular cairn is a naturally occurring cairn, one raised without it was raised without a rite or a ritual.
Right.
So the pack met with Ta himself. Once they found it, the shimmering faceless figure told them that he would watch over and protect Cairn if they would minister him and keep the temple clean and in good maintenance.
Right.
And Todd showed the Garou what the temple could do, and they readily agreed. And so they've taken care of it ever since. But sadly, the Geta Fenris tried to take it over during World War II.
And they fucked up tremendously.
They quietly withdrew until Get left, and the gauntlet slammed down like an iron fist. Once the Silent Striders left the cairn before the Get could take it over, they left. Moonbridges completely cut it off, and the Get haven't been able to open a Moonbridge to this cairn ever since. The Silent Striders eventually came back and
pushed them out with a broomstick,
taking it over.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And the Silverfangs have sent a representative to keep an eye on things, and knowing the Silverfangs is not really lost on them. That's not really lost on the Silent Striders that they might try to take it over.
Yeah, the Silent Striders are suspicious of everybody, but you kind of have to be with these guys.
Exactly.
Know what they know.
Because they don't. While this isn't their main cairn, it's the biggest cairn they have.
It's the best because they can't stay in one place because you end up attracting a buttload of rates when you do that.
Exactly. they would come up with better defenses to keep rates. And speaking of which, I will be talking about the characters. First, I'll talk about the warder, Bespor Numin, who is a Hamid Ragabash. Demeanor is maker jester. He always has a smile on his face, even when facing the worm. He's a short, grinning man with and no hair. He grew up among desert nomads in northern Africa. He received a great education from the English family who adopted him, and he has an uncanny knack for learning exactly what he needs to know.
He's apparently been in contact with every single god in Egyptian mythology, apparently.
Damn.
Apparently. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, he's met Ptah, Ra, Isis, and Thoth face to face. He's met Ra face to face and he didn't kill him.
Set.
This asshole.
He's very fond of the stargazers.
Yeah.
He's very fond of the stargazers, and he's met a couple of dream speakers.
Well, of course, it's not surprising the stargazers love each other. And who's next?
And next we have Zolsha Aman, who is the mistress of the right. She is a Hamid feared.
Mm-hmm. She's a ninja as well.
Yeah, her fetish. I want to talk about the fetish real quick. Of a level 5 Gnosis 7 will automatically draw her into the Umbra if someone attacks her in the realm, and it enables her to step sideways without needing a reflective surface.
Precisely, it's a perfect stealth infiltration gift.
Wow, it's almost like it's the same properties when you have Ptah as your totem.
Yeah.
And the Silent Striders have a particular gift where you can use that anyway. How you can step sideways into the Umbra without looking at a reflective surface.
Right.
And Zosha traveled all over the world. She's traveled all over the world. Of course, she's a Silent Strider. She's one of the oldest, and she's also one of the oldest living Garou. That makes her. And lastly, we have Sam Patel, who is the keeper of the land. He is a Galliard, and the he is currently taking care of the mosque, as any proper Muslim should. He's a small, diminutive Hindi man with features, wide, clear eyes, and a continuous smile. He ruthlessly drafts low-ranking Garou and even Kenvo into the aesthetic pleading. As a total neat freak, he likes everything to be perfect. He keeps us completely in tip-top shape.
And he's a clean freak. He's got OCD.
Exactly.
So it seems.
Thank you, Shanny. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to spare. You gotta wonder what he thinks of it, because he's Muslim in this book.
Nah.
So, according to the rules of Islam, wolves are haram. It's a sinful, filthy animal in that faith.
I mean, dogs are. Didn't say anything about wolves.
Oh well, no, not just dogs. Like modern Muslims consider any and all canines to be filthy.
Well, black dogs actually.
Well, he's a Garou and he's a Muslim, so that
and
could
what
be
color do Sanskrit to be?
A Northern African or Middle Eastern.
Yeah, we got another form of compromise with the Islam where you have the Ashura and the Assamites who have to find a compromise between being a vampire and being of the faith.
So I wonder if the Silent Striders are aware that their Karen totem is actually coyote.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Yeah, you've been infiltrated. You've been schmeckledorfed by the coyote the entire time.
Ptah is actually coyote, just one of his many faces.
Yeah, you're
right. You're right.
I mean, that's what the fucking. Jesus Christ! It's been so long since I.
Now remember how I was going at Wraith earlier in the section? As it turns out, there was no Wraith mentioned at all in this.
Exactly. I thought that was very weird that there weren't mentioned of any ghosts. Silent Striders tend to run into ghosts the most.
I wonder if the editors were like, "Okay, no wraiths in this book. Don't go wraith crazy." And he's like,
We already
"Fine,
did the wraith
fine, I
Cairn.
won't. I
You
won't
did
mention
the
another
wraith
wraith in this
Cairn
book."
with the red talons. They got the wraiths. And
Yeah.
then,
Yep, they
It's
used
so
them all up
stupid.
there.
it'll be if the,
maybe Bess knows some rights that keeps the wraiths away.
it would
Yeah, I
be
really
like
like this. But
it would be like if you gave the
I really like
Bolnars the changeling Cairn.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
huh?
That's what that would be like. Okay, so we got a weird conspiracy going on with this next one. It's the Silverfangs next.
Yes, the Sept
Now-
of the Crescent Moon.
Now you got this one right, Kyle?
Yes.
Now before you begin, you see those two writers, David Key and George Neal?
Yes.
These guys worked on 4 books only. And the 4 books they worked on at the same time. Werewolf: A Player's Guide, Rage Across Russia, Rage Across the Amazon, Carens: Places of Power. After this book, they're gone. I can't find any information about these
Which
guys
is
anywhere.
weird because both of those modules were phenomenal.
So they just came, did what they wanted to do, dipped.
It's like it's like that one programmer that got hired by a game studio and spent like 4 months fixing one bug, and then signed his 2-week and then put in his 2 weeks notice.
I'm also wondering if David Key
Ghost
and George
Riders.
Neal are actually the same person.
Hmm.
No, what it is, you see, when you're that good, you don't need to advertise yourself. You just have to be well known within the community that you can be a ghostwriter that just like goes from one place to another, does their job very, very fucking well, gets paid handsomely, and then just bugs off and does
Basically.
something else.
Yep.
Even though this is made by the same duo that made Rage Across Russia, you know this is going to be faithful.
Oh yeah.
You know there's a plan here.
So,
All right, Kyle, your time begins now.
Sept of the Crescent Moon, located in central Urals in Russia. It is a level 5 Karen, the Gauntlet of 2. It is a kingship Karen. It is a Silverfang controlled Karen, but all tribes are welcome. The totem, of course, is Falcon.
Spin
So
Doctor.
the Karen, claimed by the Sept of the Crescent Moon, lies deep within the Ural Mountains. Is it Ural or Ural? I don't remember.
Ural.
Central Russia. It is located within a nearly inaccessible valley surrounded by the rocky crags of the Urals. Access is restricted to footpaths along the mountains or via Moonbridge. It is possible, however, to fly over the area in an airplane or helicopter. The thickness of the forest and unpredictability of the terrain preclude it from landing. Game abounds in this valley. Garou take only what they need. A stream flows out of the mountain. It's very pretty. It's very beautiful. A whole lot of natural beauty. So the bond of the Cairn consists of the Urals themselves. And leading up to the center, there are 16 different paths to get here. And each is more deadly than the last. So there's one that winds its way in the mountains. It's one of the few into the outer world, but it's a Dex and Athletics check and difficulty 6. There's a slightly more treacherous path that requires climbing at difficulty 8. But you might get a couple wounds of bashing damage, but a botch would be aggravated. There's another path, the direction that the Silverfangs fought and destroyed this ME. Another path that leads absolutely nowhere. Another path that requires difficulty 9 or 10. The distance of fall can be anywhere from 10 to 150 feet. There's a stream with a waterfall that plummets 70 feet, or you walk up to Grimfang, the Karen Warder, and immediately get the fuck beat out of you. And that's just a handful of the ways that you can try to get into the Karen. It is a death trap. The umbra of the valley is virtually identical to the valley itself. However, the spirit content of everything is far more visible. You can even see the spirits of old heroes sometimes wandering amongst the trees. As within the bond of the Cairn, there are a number of trees with glyphs denoting heroes who have been buried beneath. And some even go there to try and consult with their ancestors. Much like Russia itself, it's deeply intertwined with the history of the Garou, as is the Sept of the Crescent Moon. During the Impergium, a group of Silverfangs decided that they needed a seat of their leadership to be established so their tribe will always be remembered. And they fought many and many battles along the middle of the Urals until they found this perfect spot. And however, they found a nesting place of the serpents known as the Zame, dragon-like creatures of the worm with incredible power. Many Garou died trying to wrestle the Urals from their influence. Finally, with a Sylvan Valley, the group of the greatest Silverfang Theurges of all time bent their wills to create the Caren. It was of exclusive rarity to which, the Caren of Kingship would be created, thus the seat of the Silverfangs in Russia. And so as the Impergium was lifted, the Caren still remained safe, despite everything. Worm creatures still spawned and attacked, and they were easily defeated. However, the Silverfang nowadays are waning in Russia. While they are always heard and acknowledged, they are also subjected to some disobedience. The Urals is considered a retirement home by younger Russian Garou, as, most of the Garou control it are far past their prime. Still, it is one of the most powerful Carens in the world. The worm no longer considers deceptive a threat, however, because of its isolated nature. The Russian Garou are beginning to further doubt their leaders as new scourges threaten them. The draining of Carens, something thought impossible, has begun happening with astonishing regularity in Carens. Carens are being overrun, their guardians slaughtered, and when the Garou counterattack, they discover only the remains of the place of power. So it is in a rather precarious position.
How much they carked up the Baba Yaga operation.
Absolutely. There's a number of interesting characters in this Caren. Of course, you have Piotr Volk, who is the Sept leader. He's a Silverfang Arun, and his leadership has not been kind to him. Even though he appears to be, he actually appears quite good for his age. He's 60, but is, matter of fact, closer to 85. He's got, long gray hair and a big gray beard and still powerful in stature. Piotr actually traces his lineage back to the first leader of the Sept of the Crescent Moon. He was basically brought up to be in the position that he is today. He inherited the mantle of leadership from a sire about 50 years ago. He is ideal, just, caring, and ruthless in his action. Age, however, as I've said, has not been kind to him. The burdens of leadership weigh very heavy on his conscience. And it saddens him greatly to see some of the most promising leader of the Silverfangs, Nikolai, who we may get to in a minute, fall under the Sept of corruption. And of course, you have the Sept Warder, who I mentioned in How to Get Here, Grimfang, who, surprisingly enough, is a Lupus Theurge. He knows a fuckload of rights, and is a rank 6.
What does he not know?
This guy is a legend. Quite literally. He, hilariously enough, is happy, friendly, and educating. But if somebody pisses you off, they're going to die. Even still, he'll just sit there and talk to you for hours and hours. He's old as shit. And, he was born to one of the many wolf packs that inhabit the region, was under the protection of the Garou, has known little life other than that of their shape changer. He's traveled the length of Russia and Europe and even the Orient to battle the worm. He's old and has held the warder of the Cairns position since the previous warden's death about 30 years ago. He's considered one of the wisest theurges in Russia, and has recently begun receiving messages and visits from Garou questioning about the draining of Carens. It troubles him greatly, but it's still something he has to deal with. And then you've got, and he's actually organized a number of guardian packs that assist with him, fighting the worm and making sure that everything goes well. As I mentioned, you have Nikolai Podelsky, who was supposedly being brought up to eventually replace Piotr, but never did. His pack is composed of another Silverfang, a Bonar, 2 Shadow Lords, and even a Glasswalker. They deal with threats originating from the various industrial sites nearby cities. They've been producing most of the trouble lately. Nikolai and his pack have gained a great deal of renown in a very short time. It's impressed the other Garou, but also made him a little nervous. He's a soft-spoken individual who kind of holds contempt at pretty much everybody else. Even when elders, he acts as if talking with them degrades him. So it's highly suspect of whether or not they may actually give him any sort of power in the Sept of the Crescent Moon.
2 minutes.
Then we have Andrei Bolkowski, Master of the Right, who's a Hamid Silverfang. Hamid Silverfang Philodox. He's the Master of the Right because of his position. Others look to him for guidance. He doesn't want to let anybody down. He is very, very, protective of his opinion. When somebody doubts you, you may fly into a rage. You did your best. Why should they shove every little mistake in your face? He didn't expect to, his first change to come, but his parents thankfully were kinfolk and knew exactly who to contact. Moving on, we also have the Gatekeeper, Viktor Zemtsov. He is a Hamid Galliard. Interesting job for a Galliard. He is a, handsome lupus, short, powerfully built Silverfang with a black stripe running from nose to tail.
He's one of these boomers, too.
Yeah. He's basically as charming as anybody could ever be. He was just one of several Galliards when the Gatekeeper died, when he saw the opportunity. He talked to Grimfang and, Victor listened to all the back in my day stories and basically manipulated Grimfang into giving him the title of Gatekeeper. In fact, the old wolf saw Victor was a weak-willed, power-hungry fool, but was basically the useful idiot of the Sept. And you have Cries at Night, a Galliard Silverfang, a lot of Galliards. And so, this Galliard here is surprisingly very quiet for a Galliard. Anybody seems cast out or in menial pain, you try to console them. Except pups is being pushed around, you adopt them.
9, 8,
and
7,
yeah, so again,
6,
whole lot of
5,
really great friggin' characters in here. And then Ivan Sokozin, who's just a dick.
As in the roleplay notes say, be a jerk in all capital letters.
That's exactly what I saw. He's just a dick.
We mentioned Gorgornis, the Jmei at some point. Anytime we mention Jmei, I gotta pull up a picture of Gorgornis Deathwing. There he is.
Hang on.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's freaky looking.
That's terrible looking. It's just black paint on.
Well, that's what it is. That he's constantly emitting fire around his body, so you can only see the heat haze shadow of who he is.
I survived because the fire inside me
that-
burned brighter than the fire around me.
It sounds like a stupid excuse for poor artwork.
It's stylized.
It is.
Now, I thank you for your irrational hatred for the Stargazers, because you gave me the best part of the book and you didn't even know it. And this is written by Christopher Howard, and the minute I saw his name, I got genuinely excited for this part, because he's the same guy who wrote, honestly, a lot of stuff for Changeling and all irony, like Denizens of the Dreaming, Kith book, Knockers, the second edition book, but he also wrote the Giovanni Chronicles, and that's where I knew his name from, and that's why got me excited. So if he's able to write this whole campaign, he's got a few good ideas too.
So this guy's a real deal.
And then he disappeared for a little bit. He came back to do another Changeling the Dreaming, not Changeling Dreaming, Changeling the Lost. He got invited back to do the book for Changeling the Lost. And then he, just by everybody else who worked for White Wolf, he just disappeared. And nobody's seen the White Wolf staff since. A lot of these guys. Let's get into it. I'm starting my clock right now. Sept of the Snow Leopard. It is in a fictitious monastery in the Himalayan Mountains, level 4, Gauntlet 3, Enigma Karen. It is Stargazers, but if you meet the religious, ethical, intellectual, or metaphysical standards, you're welcome in. The totem is the Umbral Wind, which isn't a totem, it's just the spirit collective of the entire Sept. Now, where is this? It is in Tibet, which is a country that has lost its sovereignty after China annexed it in 1951. We get to that part in the history. There is a Chinese base 25 miles north of there, and these guys are hiding from them. They are a tourist attraction. The People's Republic of China has said, hey, check out this monastery up in the mountains. You can go there and tour. The Stargazers were about to raise hell about that, but decided, wait, hold on a minute, we can actually make some money off of this. And they can actually see the crazy stuff we're doing here, so who cares? And this place is known for its wild temperature shifts. It's like 80 degrees shifts in weather, where it goes from being nice, and all of a sudden you got hail, freezing rains, and avalanches coming after you. As for what powers this place, there is a stone obelisk in the center of this cairn of the monastery. There is a effigy of the Maruts, the Hindu gods of the storm, who are the 29 sons of the thunder god Rudra. And that's what gives them their power. Because this place, in the material plane and in the Umbra, is constantly protected by a solid barrier of wind. There's a constant wind blow throughout the entire set. It never stops. Now, in the material plane, it only ever goes off if there's something like a Quaijin come after you, in which case you're just blown off the mountain. But in the Umbra, it picks up ice knives, throws them into your body, or just flays the skin off your flesh and bones. And in the wind, too, is the skeleton of a Nexus Rider that they chopped up and threw into this ever-going tornado, and it just blows around the wind around the set.
Wow. That's that punishment, sure.
Now, the reason why that's there is because a Nexus Crawler attacked this place. It was going after the original founder of this place. His name was Justinian, who took this whole effigy with them all the way over from the Byzantines. Whenever was looking for the right place to planted it, and then the Nexus Crawler found out where it was and started coming after him. But he had a friend, one Mila Repa, who is a Children of Osiris Generation 5 vampire, Kyle. Is his character.
Why is
Osiris himself sired this guy, and Osiris was in turn sired by La Sombra. Just to let you know how strong this guy is. And it fills in the missing blank that was left behind in the Setites book, because Osiris is not dead. Well, he is dead. But he's in the Shadowlands, and he's able to hop back and forth out of the Shadowlands. I read Mummy to Resurrection. He's still around. Even though he's died twice, he's now back around here. And Milo Repa is an extension of his will, who is teaching the local vampires of the Camarilla down south how to achieve Golconda when they visit the Sept. The Camarilla vampires walk in and out of the Sept. The Stargazers know this, know about Milo Repa, have a good bond with him, and realize that he might be one of the best things they need to fight the Quaijin. Incredible. And inside this place, too, is the Garden of Inconstant Movement, which is a mosaic path of yellow and blue tiles, where if you know a correct sequence of tiles to step on, you will instantly appear in the Umbra. But it's such a obscure path you have to follow. It's Dexterity Enigmas, difficulty 8 to even solve the puzzle, and even then, you need to pass a success threshold before you can step sideways in here. So it's just a constant portal that leads you out into the Umbra.
Careful, might dance a spiral.
And also, snow leopards will come into this place. Whether or not they're actual Bastet, we're not told for certain, but there is a giant cat here, Giasto, who is a giant Maneki Neko, like the lucky cat, where if you piss him off, he curses you forever. Yeah. And that's his name. Gyasto is how you spell his name. And this place believes in sky burials, where when you die, they chop up your body, throw it into the wind, and then the birds pick your dead body out of the sky and fly away and eat you.
Jeez, calm down, Stargazers.
I feel like you got to do that like 6 or 7 times to make sure they get all the pieces.
The true treasure inside this sept is the cave, where, hidden behind Mila Repa, the tourists don't get to see this guy, and he has all these different disciplines that will turn you away. This man knows chemistry, for example. There was a stone here called the Bloodstone that was stained with the blood of the Nexus Crawler that they killed. And it's reeking of worm taint. But there's a guy here that's of the Metastic birth that believes that he can forge it into a weapon that then can be used to kill the track worm. He just hasn't figured out how to do that yet. And as for Mila Repa, we don't have a full stat block for him, but we know his discipline spread. Bardo, Auspex, Fortitude, Chemistry. That's all he has. That's all he needs. He's 900 years old, by the way, and he has achieved Golconda. Well, probably he thinks he has. He's pretty sure he's achieved Golconda. The man can step out in the sun. Now, There's also another piece of the Umbra here. In the Umbra, the Sept looks the same as it does in the material plane, but there is another part of the Umbra you can go to called the Crazy Umbra, aka fucking Flux, where a piece of Flux was shoved into this part of the Umbra after Nexus Crawler attacked. The Wild himself is in this Sept, and you can step sideways and talk to the wild in the sept.
I imagine that conversation would basically sound like the Fun Twins from Smiling Friends.
Yeah. Do not directly look upon the wild. The wild, you cannot see the wild, but the wild can see you and interact with you directly. And he brought his eye spirits with him. Now I might be thinking, what's an eye spirit? Yes, it is a giant eyeball that will take its little eye stalk tail and put it between your eyes and become your third eye in the Umbra. It costs you 3 points of permanent gnosis to do this, but in the material plane, you can step sideways out of the Umbra with the third eye, and it will shrink and it will shrivel itself into your brain, where it will give you the permanent power of telepathy, if you manage to do this. Along with a small intelligence increase. I think it's
Fucking
intelligence.
cool.
Yeah. And you get this. And if you need it to take a bullet for you, it has 40 levels of health.
Jesus.
The black
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Guy can do this.
And yeah, this place it survived a few invasions where during the 12th and 13th century, a bunch of humans tried to invade it. They got pushed back. The Mongol horde tried coming in. It didn't work. Some Buddhist radicals called the Red Hats tried taking over. They got pushed away. And then 1904 is the whole Tibetan invasion from England, where the Ventru tried to raid this place because there were a bunch of rubies they wanted to mine there. There was a guy there called Lungtok Sr. who struck a financial deal with the Ventru that is still in place today. The Camarilla knows about these guys, and they're business partners with them. And they have a whole non-aggression pact. And then the Chinese annexation occurred, and they've been hiding from the equation ever since. But thankfully, they have how many allies by this point, how many spiritual defenses? They're set. They're like God himself, the wild is in this side of the sept. They're fine. And as for who hangs around this place, there's around like 17 people that will come in here. Every guardian here is a Kailindo practitioner that will teach you how to learn Kailindo. You come over to the monastery, you do the martial arts classes, you learn Kailindo, you become the martial arts werewolf. They have a whole like Mortal Kombat thing set up here. And they shout, finish him at the top of their lungs, and you die, but you're brought back to wild spirit, you're fine. Well, that's not in the book, but I imagine that's how it happens. And then the people here are Lungtok Jr., who is the son of the first guy, and he decided to become the leader of the sept after his dad did such a good job. His dad trained him on how to be the leader, and even though he is a Nepo baby, technically, he does a good job, and he's this master. He's good at everything. He's a very wise guy who knows a lot of crazy gifts, too. One of those including Gish, for example. Then we have a bunch of characters who are in here who are just, like, cool for the sake of being cool, who don't really do anything. So let me just skip ahead to the characters that actually do stuff. The guy who's with the Metastic Birth, his name is Turdak Lingba, and he is dangerously close to becoming an Ouroboran. He's about to become a worm worshiper. The balance worm, specifically. And he believes that if the track worm just up and dies, we can bring back the balance worm and everything will be fine. He hasn't figured out how to do that yet. And they know about him. They know what he's studying. And as long as he doesn't dance the Black Sparrow, he's fine. He's just allowed to operate here. And the last guy that works here is John Campbell that I want to talk about, who is a Vietnam veteran that, Kyle, you've seen The Deer Hunter, right?
Yes.
Christopher Walken is basically his character.
So he just sits there playing Russian roulette with himself forever.
Well, he was, but the Stargazers helped him get back on track. Now, granted, he's got serious depression and he's got imposter syndrome because he managed to fight off a Sabbat ambush in Vietnam, but his entire pack died in it. So he says, you know what? I killed a Sabbat, but I didn't necessarily achieve my objective now, did I? And he's just been living with himself ever since. And that's your Sept of Stargazers.
You got some interesting folks here. And some
That's pretty
things.
It's pretty crazy, actually. Very crazy.
It is pretty nuts.
It's called the Crazy Umbra for a reason.
It's so
well, the
wacky.
wild's there, so yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly. It's just so wild. It's wild.
Along with this
I like the Karen Warders, the twin sisters, the Karen Warders.
Yeah, so if you want to go for a full high fantasy type game, this is your spot. This is absolutely it.
I get to be a friggin' wolf monk. It's gonna be sick.
Yes, you got the whole wolf kung fu.
Shaolin shadowboxing and the Wu-Tang sword style. If what you say is true, the Shaolin and the Wu-Tang could be dangerous.
I'd rather
it
be a
just,
Hakken.
You
I,
must
I, I
climb
may,
these high. You must climb these high mountains. Oh, and watch out for the winds. They will devour you like a blender.
yeah. On top of that, I just got done watching Bloodsport yesterday too.
I've been meaning to watch that movie. We never got around to doing that for shitty
Jean
movie
Claude
night.
Van Damme.
So, Kyle, you got the antenna right.
Yes.
This one was written by Tewin Woodruff, who I have no idea where she's from, but she wrote Karen's Places of Power. This is how she got
Did
her
you say
start.
Woodruff? There's
Yeah.
a street. There's Woodruff Street in Ottawa. I don't know. Maybe she's actually native.
The thing that she's known for is that she's the woman who wrote World of Darkness Gypsies.
Really
That was her.
Ha!
interesting.
So, but
Let's see how offensive. Let's see how offensive this can be.
All right, Kyle, your clock begins
Yeah,
now.
then.
So, Sept of the Waking Dream. It is the Cairn Katatuta Rock Formation, the Olgas, in the Australian outback. It is a level 4 cairn. Is an enigma cairn because it's Uktena. Closed, held by Uktena Aborigines specifically. Totem, of course, is Great Uktena. As we know, the Australian outback is one of the harshest environments found on all of Gaia. In the summer, it can get to an average of about 130 degrees Fahrenheit, with surface temperatures over 160. Average rainfall is about no more than 10 inches per year. Only the Aborigines and Garou can survive unaided by technology, and maybe not even that can protect them. Katajuta, otherwise known as Many Heads, is a series of large, rounded rocks rising out of the flat expanse of the outback. The largest of these rocks, Mount Olga, is over 1,300 feet tall, stands in very sharp contrast to the rest of the outback. The land of the Katajuta is protected by the pounding sun and vaporizing heat sheltering these monoliths. Consequently, the land is actually a fertile womb sheltering open pools of life-giving water and a very rich diversity of plant life, nowhere else seen in the outback. It's sort of an environmental miracle, this whole place. And so, and in the Bawn of the Cairn, due to how extraordinarily low population density it is, because it's in the middle of goddamn nowhere, they have to travel various distances to find enough food to survive. The Bawn of the Katajuta Cairn is actually quite large. It's bordered on both by the McDonnell Mountain Range and on the east of the tourist town of Alice Springs and the Macumba River. The center of it is cradled deep within the crags of Mount Gee, known as the Glade of the Ancestors, consisting of a pool of water surrounded by ghost gum and bloodbark trees. The Aboriginal Uktena consider these trees to be the past lives of many members of the Sept. Often the Theurges will consult these trees in the dream time, which is the Aborigine name for the Umbra. When there is a pretty strong threat to the Sept, the bloodbark trees will begin to weep a blood-red sap, sort of like a spiritual warning from Gaia. So, alongside this or just north to the entrance to the Dreaming Womb, is the Valley of the Winds, which is approximately 1.5 miles wide. This flat plane of red earth is situated between two fingers that are part of Katusha's many rock formations. They really love rocks out here, don't they? A Garou who seeks knowledge and the guidance of Gaia allows her paws to guide her to whatever point in the Valley of the Winds feels right. They lie down and wait to hear what Gaia has to tell her. They normally wait for no more than a day or 2 nights for Gaia's message. Only under the gravest circumstances will they need to live longer. And sometimes Gaia will just let them die out there. Fun. The Uktena there believe that Uluru, known as Ayers Rock to the Europeans, was once one of the most powerful cairns on all of Gaia. It was tended by the lost tribe of the Bunyip, as we know, and the Uktena believe its totem to be the powerful spirit known as Imberumbera, otherwise known as the Rainbow Spirit. Although the cairn does not seem to be accessible to the Uktena, the Sept firmly believes that the cairn is still viable. Every inch of Uluru has been very carefully examined, both physically and spiritually, by the Uktena Theurges. They are certain the power of the Great Cairn awaits only the proper ritual and the correct ceremony before it can awake once more. And so the Uktena, with the longest sight, say that the mighty Bunyip leader, Jitantardra, it's spelled weird. Jintjinjara. Jinjara, I think is how it goes.
Yeah, I think that's right.
They believe the Bunyip leader realized the fight would be lost and held out one final command to his sept. As one, the Bunyip leapt on the great worm beast they fought, which was a foul, pestilent mockery of the rainbow spirit, biting into its putrid flesh, and with their combined power managed to overcome it with their last will, sending the worm spawn over the edge of Uluru and thus saving the Carens from the worm's taint. And then beneath the limestone waste of the Nullarbor Plain is a vast network of caves complete with underground pools and streams. It's somewhere in this network that an unseen bane lies dormant, where it is tended by the Uktena. The worm creature is often said to be the very one that the Bunyips dragged from Uluru's heights. Terribly wounded and crazed with pain, the creature wandered for days until it found the cool depths of the Nullarbor Plain. They've carved powerful wards into the walls of the cairn. The most powerful of these can be found at the entrance known as the Kunalda Cave. The Bane tender Kosakaki stands watch over the Bane, renewing its power of the wards and watching for signs of the Bane's reawakening. Though he has reported the disturbing odor of black spiral dancers in the tunnels, as we know from the Australia video a long time ago, with the death of the Bunyip, the black spiral dancers have taken a large foothold on Australia, making the sept of the waking dream somewhat of an Alamo site for the Uktena that live here. In the Umbra itself, it's a realm of very stark, majestic beauty. The vivid colors of the outback are breathtaking, with vibrant life and power. When traveling the Umbra, the outback, Garou realize how tainted and impure their homes are by comparison. Many travelers return from this journey with renewed rage over Gaia's plight. Having viewed a purer world, the illness of the Garou's homeland is revealed anew. The penumbra of the Australian outback is incredibly powerful. They believe that it touches upon the realm known as the Dreamtime. It's believed the gauntlet in the outback has remained thinner elsewhere, allowing such a powerful realm to exist so close to the physical world. The Dreamtime is a place of currents. The Umbra shifts and swirls like water. All too rare on the physical plane was collecting in the Umbra, but the currents of the Dreamtime run far deeper than any other domain possible. Time itself even runs differently. Theurges and Skywalkers can trace their way through the past lives, reaching far deeper than any other Garou can into the past. Almost something like what the Macaulay are capable of, almost. These other currents in the Dreamtime are also known as dreaming paths. These paths allow a Garou who has learned its secrets to know where they are, how to reach their destination simply by following the correct path. Other residents of note in the domain are thought by the Uktena to be the ghosts of lost bunyips. Unlike the Uktena, whose lupines form resemble large dingoes, bunyip ghosts appear as the lost and presumably extinct Tasmanian wolves. Their low-slung bodies are covered with stripes and massive jaws open wider than any other wolf. Some can even be persuaded to talk with living Garou. The Uktena of the Sept continually strive to get the Ghost Tribe to unlock the secrets of Uluru, and many of the Bunyip sigils for them, but so far they've had little success. This is a long one, Jesus. This history of it, the Katajuta was first established when the Uktena Philodox, Calls to the Night, attempted to follow a moon bridge to Uluru. Balked at the end of her long journey, Calls to the Night couldn't forget a feeling of great pain and power she had sensed before getting rebuffed. She journeyed with several companions and undertook a dangerous sea voyage to reach Australia. And when the group arrived in the outback in the mid-19th century, they were shocked to discover how many of the Aborigines were kinfolk to the lost Bunyip. None of the Bunyip, however, were found. Thinking the Croatan, Calls to the Night howled at her loss, and the Uktena and Wendigo mourned the loss of their brothers and vowed to solve the mystery of the Bunyip. As Calls to the Night...
left.
Yeah, it's... I didn't even get to the characters.
I got sucked into what you were saying. I didn't actually pay attention to the timer.
Oh, wait, did I use all my time?
No, you got a minute 12 left. I was just like so interested in what you were saying, I wasn't paying attention to it.
Good. Over the
All right,
intervening years,
yep, 12 seconds left. Go.
the antenna of the sept grew in power and numbers. Cult of the Night and her followers bred with the Aborigines and the Dingoes of the Outback, and they're determined to do this to protect the sacred ground and unlock all of the secrets of the Uluru, the Katayuta, and whatever remains of the Bunyip. So, of course, we got to talk with Runs with Ghosts, who is the sept leader.
Yeah, 50 seconds.
She's a rank 4, and Runs with Ghosts always move with a very studious grace. She never makes hasty decisions, listens to everybody, and sometimes seen with a faraway expression. She's a very solemn young woman raised by the Pinjataja Aborigines just north of Alice Springs. She spent more time with Aborigines among the tourists and outsiders, and has a good idea of the danger and opportunities they represent. She's actually rather shrewd when it comes to dealing with them, and she is determined to learn the secrets of the Bunyip, and shares a distant common ancestry with the tribe, and has begun to consider setting forth open invitations to Garou adventurers to attempt to lock in the secrets of the Uluru and the Lost Bunyip. Some other oppose this idea, especially Bathes in Blood and Runs with, especially Bathes in Blood. Oh, man, there's a lot to cover in that one. Jesus.
Yeah, the Tina book is the one that's got the most in it.
Yeah, they talk about secrets, and that's what this book has. Jesus Christ, it's a lot.
This is your companion piece to Rich Coast Australia.
Yeah, no shit.
Exactly.
And then like the other character here was like,
damn.
Was like Lemon Run is like, I'm the New English wolf, and I'm here to do all my walkabout here to explore all the Umbra. That's his whole character.
Here's another thing that doesn't make fucking sense. Why are the Wendigo in Arizona?
Now, the guy who wrote this is Roderick Robertson.
Exactly.
No, hold on, I have an explanation for this.
No.
Yeah. The guy who wrote this is Roderick Robertson, who is a guy who, once again, wrote for this book and then never wrote for this book again. Wrote for Werewolf again.
All right, that'd do it.
So this guy who's brand spanking new. So I don't think he was filled in as to what the Croton were and where the ley lines between Wendigo and Octina were. So this is part of that. This is part of that first edition weirdness. Is why we have this.
Let's go into detail of how the Wendigo got there, all the way down south into Arizona, shall we?
Your time begins.
All right. So history. I'm going to try and skim through this because it's actually a bit more. The Navajo and their cousins, the Navajo and the cousins, the Apache, migrated from Western Canada to the area known as the Four Corner Regions, where Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico came together sometime between 800 and 1400 AD. The Navajo called themselves Din, which means the people, along with their kin Garou migrated as well. The Navajo Garou were of the Wendigo tribe and forced their way into the lands held by the Uktana. Yeah, so they conquered the Uktana. That's how they actually got the territory. It used to be Uktana territory. Since that time, the Navajo and their Garou have been targets of raids and warfare from the surrounding tribes. The nomadic Navajo retaliated, raiding their pueblos and farms of their neighbors for grain and animals. The white man brought horses to the New World as well, and they adopted new rules with enthusiasm. The United States seized control of New Mexico in 1846. In 1851, Fort Denison was built near the Canyon de Chelly, a great natural fortress. Yada, yada, yada. Raiding parties were unfazed by the soldiers. By 1861, the fort was abandoned with the outbreak of the Civil War. Between 1861 and 1863, there was no government presence in the New Mexico territory. Yeah, I guess I should probably mention something. So this is actually the largest Karen in the book. This
stretch is huge.
Yeah, so this stretches a diameter of 250 miles long, and it passes through 4 states. It's
Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, Colorado.
Absolutely, and it is a Karen that is only level 2. It's not that powerful, but it's big as hell. It's a It's a stamina and strength type Karen, and its totems. Well, it says that there's only 2 totems, but really there's actually 4. This is a Karen that is not run by not 1, not 2, but 3 seps. 3 seps operating 1 Karen, because we have the sept of the sept of the Painted Sands. That's 1. Then we have the let's see, where is it? The sept of the Tall Rocks, the Tall Rock sept, which is based in Monument Valley, and the 2-foot red which has a sizable Uktana mixed Hopi population. And yeah, the four spirits of the Navajo are the Changing Woman, Father Son, and the two hero twins. And the two hero twins are called Monster Slayer and Child of the Water. I don't know much details into them because I didn't have much time. Anyway, going back to the history, let's see. Not much happened. There was let's see. Cameron was established to aid Garou defenders of the Navajo during the war against the 1963, as the forces of Kit Carson and General James Carleton raided deep into Navajo territory. Several septs of the Navajo gathered at Mesa de Loblo, which is Spanish for Wolf's Table, and performed the rite of the Karen opening. Several days of preparation, preceding the rites, shamans gathered the sand, seeds, and components of large 20 by 20 foot sand paintings, bathing themselves and purifying their bodies and to have the task be done. And, there. And as the sun rose in the east, the hero twins manifested at Howell's with a Garou named Howell's at death to lend their strength and endure the Garou in their quest in their fight. And the Garou successfully raided the armies of the white soldiers, but even they eventually could not change the course of the war. And eventually, over time, white settlers and were aided by other Indians and other natives like Utah, the Pueblos, and even the other renegade Navajo warriors that actually cut gullies in the Canyon de Chelly once the natural fortresses of the Navajo were penetrated by the soldiers who killed warriors and stocks and put tons of grain to the torch. And the Navajo were eventually, the Long March happened in that 14-mile march happened, and 10,000 were taken prisoner, but eventually a truce was beheld, and I think it was in 1880s when they eventually were when they were actually let free from that long march thing. They went back home. They were given their home, but then they realized it wasn't exactly the same as when they left it. So it's now kind of the land has kind of been overgrazed. It's not as rich and fertile as it was before, and also the railway just south of the region has been built, and the Sept has hated the Santa Fe Railway ever since, because the Sept has their main villain is all the worm-tainted foes of that railway, because there is you see, back in the I think it was back in the 1940s, there was a whole bunch of Navajo workers that decided were hired by the American government to mine uranium, and after it was done, and after they bombed Japan, many of Navajo they conducted cancer, and the workers were abandoned by the government afterwards. And the Garou were able to capitalize on the resentment felt by the Navajo at this shabby treatment. And they now are pissed off at the government for their treatment, and they hired lawyers to sue the government, and they won their case actually in 1909. 1990. And but pensions still rise. Let's see. Now, skim through some of the characters. Okay, we have Tana, ears to the earth, daughter of the previous leader, Glassbird, who was killed by Bane while defending on a train, while defeating a train on a railroad. Lost her left hand from the worm creature on the railroad attack. Hates said railroad because Kine died mining uranium in the 1950s, and she's active in youth program in Window Rock. And let's see. Next, we have Redstone Water. She is the master of the challenge, and in her mind, she's actually in her mid-40s, but she actually looks 16. She walks with a limp, and she is a good tracker, and she is a very good raider. And she prefers her tracking when going on railroad raids, and she's actually looking to someone to fill her position because she actually can't exactly keep herself going for this long despite her age and her vitality. And next there's John Big Fish. He is the master of rite and a chanter. He is he hides his bad health. He's actually a pretty old timer. He wants to spend his last years teaching. He wants to teach his last years teaching the younger ones, who are Janice Clearwater and Lone Star. And you know what? I'm just gonna skip those two and go to George Michael. You know that commercial of that Native American that cried when somebody threw like a trash can on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks exactly like that. He's late.
Great.
It says so in the book. I mean, he fought in the Vietnam. He earned several medals of valor, except for the Purple Heart for some stupid reason. Experienced in guerrilla warfare, prefers to guard the stepped using stealth and misdirection, and he was a late bloomer, but he knows karate and master of Calagro. And we also have, Iron Horsewalker. He is the androgynous guy. He is the femboy of the tribe.
Oh god.
The femboy.
Oh yeah.
And my Wendigo?
Yeah.
Yep. and we have Lone Star, who is my favorite because he was in a band called the Coyotes. He's a good guy with the guitar, and he could have made it big, but he drifted ways from rock and roll into more traditional songs and rituals, and he got his name by singing a 9-day song over the dying body of the former chief Glassbird. He's also the closest thing to a doctor, curing ills and whatnots with his songs. He's also a chanter, just like John Big Fish, and him and Big Fish often are called to perform the blessing way in the surrounding towns and other ceremonies. Problem is, he can't leave the cairn because he's a gatekeeper, but people have come to him to the village and the mesa to see him. And I'm pretty sure doesn't say so in the book, but I'm pretty sure if you wanted to be friends with him, just talk about Waylon Jennings, because Navajo love Waylon Jennings.
Is that a fact?
That is an absolute fact.
These are historical facts.
You fish 6 seconds to spare.
I just want to point out real quick, on 144, there's a picture of a Garou punching another Garou in the face, and all I can think of is just photoshopping like vulgar display of power over top of that. That's great. I love that. I want to do that now. Let me see if I can do that.
Yes. We got on page 146 too. We got a picture of Zizek.
Oh fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And Kyle, her fucking boobs are massive. They're the size of her head.
Pic that we used in like one of the Times of the Apocalypse books, isn't it?
And she's thicker in this picture. She's usually a little bit more toned, but no, she's thick.
It's like your honkers are massive, but your face, we just can't get past
it. It's hideous.
Yeah.
She looks like Marge Simpson somehow. No. She looks like Aunt Selma.
Homer.
If any of you find this sexy, I'm deeply afraid for you.
I do not. No, the face puts me off.
Homer, we gotta start smoking these Marlboros for the worm.
She looks like she rips Marlboro Reds, bruh.
She would be a lot less intimidating if she did sound like Marge.
I can't put that on screen talk.
All right, Kyle, you get the BSDs. Your time starts now.
Oh boy, the Trinity Hive, otherwise known as the deep gut of Grandmother Thunderworm, or Gramal's gut. It's a level 3 hive, an organism, held by the Black Spiral Dancers with the totem of the Green Dragon.
Where is it located?
This cairn is situated in Alamogordo, New Mexico, the place where the first atomic bomb was detonated, hence the name Trinity. When found outside of this region, however, Grandma is still likely to have some members of the Trinity Hive riding along inside of her. The Trinity site lies in a stretch of southwestern desert known as the Jornada de Muerto, or Trail of Death, as it is. To the east and north rise the Oscura Mountains, where the Trinity Hive makes its actual burrows. The southern and western sides are bounded by the Rio Grande, and it's Elephant Butte River or Elephant Butte Reservoir. Desolate stretches of desert highways surrounding the outskirts of the Bon are regularly patrolled by Jumju, the keeper of the land. The focal point of the Trinity is, of course, the crater formed by the world's first atomic bomb. This crater is used as kind of an amphitheater by the Hive, especially when the Master of Right tells the tales about how he came here to witness the detonation of the bomb itself. At the center is the cradling foundation and twisting steel grinders of the tower, which the bomb was placed for testing. Deep beneath the crater is a subterranean cave where Gramal makes her lair. The cave is connected by long tunnels to the burrows in the Oscuro Mountains. So you actually have to go into the mouth of Gramal in order to reach the heart of this
And the
cairn.
map is an anatomy diagram.
It is. If you could be so kind as to grab me that real quick while I continue reading.
It looks like a seashell.
Yeah, it kind of
I'll,
does, actually.
I'll get the imagery also.
It looks like
Yes.
like an amoeba.
Can you hear the sea if you put your ear to it?
Probably not. No, you can hear the endless suffering of Malpheus. So
Exactly.
surrounding the crater remains the Trinity. Base to the southeast is the McDonald Ranch House, where the bomb was
There it
built. Let me put
McDonald's,
that
of course, it's
up
worm.
there. Yeah, it's kind of gross, actually, but they are black spirals, so it is what it is. So in the McDonald Ranch House, White Eye Ichthya now spends much of his time in meditation, and 6 miles to the northwest and south are concrete observation bunkers, and, a much larger observation post on Campagna Hill. The Hive maintains no grave hallowed heroes, preferring to feed its dead to Gramal. So the umbral echo of the atomic bomb can be seen as a blindingly bright, permanent fireball some 100 feet above the crater. Banes and wildlings are drawn to it like some nexus of worm and wild energies. And surrounding the crater, shadow remains of the patterned web. And then, if you can refer to the Maw of Gramal on the screen, to enter the cairn properly, you have to undertake the long, hard journey down the digestive tract. Vor. This must be done in the Umbra, as the journey is virtually impossible to survive physically. The interior is alive with elemental spirits as she ingests while burrowing into the Earth's surface. Most of these have been corrupted and now function as part of her internal process. In place of a hard skeleton, Gramal moves and maintains her body shape by forcing fluid through a series of cavities lining her outer rings. The fluid is extremely toxic and is inhabited by water elementals and Wakshani, worm-tainted toxic elementals. Grima's circulatory system is a river of fire running from head to tail and back. It's used by the Guardians to travel quickly to any parts of her body. Non-Guardians may attempt this method to travel, but they need Worm Lore 5 or Area Knowledge 4, specifically of Gramal. To exit at a desired location, as well as adequate protection against the fire, the arterial number listed for each digestive chamber is the difficulty for finding and entering the arterial port. The excretory system takes the form of nephridia, which are little kidneys which line the gut, transport things placed inside to her outer hide, but in its physical form rather than the umbra. Resident spirits will place anything from indigestible material to immobile characters into the nephridial ports. Excretion causes 6 wounds of 6 wound levels, although the victim may soak the damage. Of course, in the gut is, the rolling contractions that push everything along. Being subjected to one is like being crushed by an earthquake. If the player is unconscious or immobile, they may be automatically pushed into the next chamber or the nearest nephridia.
To quickly summarize that mechanic, you have 6 different rooms. There's an arterial number that describes how much you're being digested for if you fuck up a stamina roll. And then you have to make a dexterity roll to resist being sucked into the next part of the body.
Oh, yeah.
You have 6 chambers in which you can survive. Chamber number 7, you get digested.
Yep. So there's the pharynx, there's the esophagus, which you can crawl back out of. You have the crop, which, is sort of a holding tank, really spongy.
Filled with spiders.
Yes, it is filled with crop spiders that can steal shit off of you. The gizzard, which is a really rocky cavern, and
there's
these
an
little
evil
crusher
gnome that lives in it.
Yes, a crusher gnome bane can come out and try and fight you in there. And then there's the intestinal labyrinth, which is just a fucking horrific H.R. Geiger amalgamation of worm shit. And it also separates everybody and plagues them with ideas of violence, disease, and informity. And, whoever survives are forever marked by the experience, unless the character deals with the visions in a truly exceptional manner. They still receive a disease, deformity, or arrangement. The stomatale plexus is a massive neural ganglia at the end of the intestines. Scientists still don't know what the hell it's used for. It's the closest thing that Grandma has to a brain and basically does all the internal functions. It's also important because it's the center of the cairn. Supplicants who have proven their worthiness in the long battlefield may be granted additions to their physical attributes or health levels. The cairn totem, the green dragon, can sometimes be found here. If not, it can be a moon bridge to the green dragon's lair, which, can be confronted with a potential for rebirth. It's not clear what that means. There is also a hermaphroditic reproductive system containing both testes and ovaries, in which she lays the thunderworms produced by the millions. Although only one egg in a million has a chance of hatching, much less growing to maturity. If a supplicant has appeased the green dragon, they are allowed to enter the reproductive cycle and become the nucleus around which the organism is formed. Grandma usually retires to her trinity layer at this point to lay a huge egg, which can take anywhere from a few weeks to a few years to incubate. You eventually emerge as a phorectoid, or larva of the worm. It is possible, but extremely unlikely, for an uncorrupted Garou to reach this point
2 minutes.
without succumbing to the worm's influence. The newly acquired powers are hers to command in Gaia's cause, but will always bear the worm taint. The main people to talk about is Johnny's cum icon, Gavalt, who is a pure breed rank 4 black spiral dancer who's burly and barrel-chested and also fat. Quite attractive due to his pure greed background. He loves feasting and actually is probably one of the nicest evil bastards you'll ever meet. But also eats his own people for fun. And then, of course, Zizek, who I don't want to talk about because you already heard about her.
Yeah.
And then you have Wide-Eye Ichthia, who is, the master of the right, and, and is very calm and quiet, speaks with passion and melodrama when she does speak, and, was an nocturnal wild child who witnessed the Trinity explosion and gave him innate ideas of the workings of the Triad. And then you've got a fat tub of lard who works as the gatekeeper, who's Huruf, otherwise known as Palefish. He basically lays there eating and sleeping and doesn't like to be woken up unless it's very, very important. Yep. All kinds of weird shit goes on in here. It's a biological anomaly closely studied by Slate Scrape Ichthia, master of the challenge, who wants to try and unlock the secrets of the Trinity for his own nefarious purposes. Jesus Christ, I need to take a shower after that.
And there is 18 seconds to spare, and the image provided is some guy who's about to get sucked out of the asshole.
Yes. Oh, wait, hang on. Did you post another? Okay, no, you didn't. I was worried for a minute there.
Yes. And there you have it. That's Carens Place Apart. Oh, by the way, there's a whole appendix in the back here dedicated to the Kitsune. Yeah, this is the book where the Kitsune appeared, those same two interns that snuck in and wrote about the Shadow Lords. This is the book that introduced the Kitsune, and this is where they introduced it. Oh, but I forgot to mention, the guy that wrote the BSD part, he is Sam Inabene, where he has wrote the best books of just about everything. He wrote the Book of Madness, Chronicles of Black Labyrinth, Book of Worm 2nd Edition, the Euthantos book as well, the Sons of Ether book, and Ascension, The Earth Will Shake.
Oh.
This stuff that he made.
Damn.
And he was one of the only guys I can name that got called back to work on Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th Edition. Supposedly, yeah. And so there we have it. So
Yep.
what do we think of this book?
I actually quite like this. This gives a lot of insight, not only to the inner workings of the different Carens, but also just a little bit more ideas to how each Caren functions and why they are the way they are.
And if you don't have any ideas for running a game, this is where you go for it.
It's a very good play. It has good examples of like Karens, but I think there could be more. I kind of wish that they went into more detail of what happens when you activate like the right Karen. Like for example, why, like what exactly are the Karen types? Like a Karen of strength, a Karen of wisdom. What does that mean? What powers do you get from
They
that?
explained it in the Storyteller's Guide.
Yeah.
It's
They
I
did.
think it depends on.
it's
I think it depends on what kind. I think it's.
the resource you regenerate when you go in there. Like it either heals you, or it gives you gnosis, or it improves the stats.
Well, like
It depends.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to
depends
have
on
actually
the,
just copied it. It would have hurt to at least have them copy and paste that into the book to have them explain it
in a small little square.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
you know,
well, that's
just
the hustle, Dan. You have to explain a term you don't understand, so you buy the book that tells you the term.
Fine.
It
You gotta
depends
respect
on
the hustle.
the type of sept it is. I think it depends on what the totem is.
It part of it does, yeah.
So, like I said to, like I messaged you before about it, but I mean, I do wish that they actually went into more detail in terms of how the Karen moods actually differentiate from each other, because it's not just about, because I think they should actually have a different description of how a Karen moot operates, not just based off of like a tribal culture, but also the surrounding culture as well. Because if you're gonna be, say, a Karen that's in a that's up in Alaska, there's probably going to be more like Karen events that involve like a snowman or like sledding, for example.
Right.
Or if you're like in the desert, there's probably going to be a contest of a sand painting, for example. And they didn't exactly go into much. There were some things here and there in the books, but I didn't feel that there was enough to actually make a section in each portion of the book. So
right.
I enjoyed this book too. I wish they would have explained more about why there's a Wendigo Karen in Arizona.
Because there's a bad writer, that's why.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So
the only thing I can think of is, go ahead.
Out of all these Karens, which one are you going to go to for Thanksgiving?
Oh, that's definitely the drive. Definitely the Fianna.
Definitely the Wendigo one.
Maybe I'll go to the Children of Gaia, even though it's across the country for me.
It's the COG.
Maybe not now, because it probably smell like poop.
Probably not. No.
Go over Washington D.C. with the Bonars.
Hey, look, that canned chicken is pretty good though. It's like $3 at fucking Dollar General, bro.
And I do know people down in D.C. Wouldn't mind
getting a few street fights while I'm there.
Probably.
Is that after all? I showed you the Bonar meal when we did the Boston trip.
That's true, and you know what? It was pretty good. But I'm gonna be honest. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but like that makeshift chorizo meat sauce and pasta was pretty banging.
So, which Karen do you think is actually the most is the weakest and probably the most likely to be invaded?
It's been invaded. This Soundstrayers one in Casablanca.
That's true. Yes.
Say that, and also the Bonar.
The Bonar one.
Given it as a park, and you're up against a bunch of angry liberals who own it.
Yeah, God help you.
And Tifa just all over the place.
And then the one that's most horrified, I'm going to say the Black Furies.
Oh, without a doubt.
I was going to say Black Furies as well. No doubt.
Black Furies. Second is benefit.
Yeah, I was going to say the Surfangs, because it's just the 16 paths and how they're all made to screw you over.
I mean, yeah, but there's also only
because it's so deserted and nobody wants to go there. You know,
but that still won't save them from the Karen training, though.
Dude, like invading Russia, period, especially in the winter, is just a dumb idea in general.
Yeah, Napoleon couldn't do it.
Napoleon couldn't do it. Hitler couldn't do it. Nobody can fucking do it.
Well, thanks to global warming, now we might be able to.
And then the third one probably would be the Stargazers in terms of hard to invade because of that wind barrier.
Yes.
And on top of that, you got a Generation 5 Osiris vampire in there.
That'd help as well.
Man was directly embraced by Osiris.
It's
That helps.
amazing. It's amazing how that works, huh?
There it is.
It's amazing
Oh,
how Carens work.
Fuck. There was some sort of guy that had a vampire connection before in one of these books, too. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Oh, yeah, in the Black Furious book, I forgot to mention, one of them has a tie-in with Brunhilde, a.k.a. a vampire that was started by Odin.
Oh. So no wonder they're good at kicking the ass of the Get Ephemeris. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to come over here. Here's what they're going to do. Oh, we'll just get the C to fuck them up.
Yeah, no,
That's a great
the
idea.
entire playbook.
Or great.
All right.
I mean, like they were. I mean, they were thinking of allying with one of the gangrel and they actually wanted to, but the problem was that they're too proud and strong, and they don't really want to go to them for help. And instead, they want to trick him to actually asking them for help. It's kind of one of those things because
no,
they get
my way. It's gonna be my way. That's what it's like with you fucking people.
It's like
My way
you
or
know
the
what?
highway.
It's like Gangrel's going up to get his Fenris. Do you guys want my help? No. We don't need your help. No, we're fine. Are you sure? I mean, I hang out with them all the time. Like I can tell you with all the look. No, it's cool. Totally cool. I mean, maybe. I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I'm gonna say that's it for an episode.
Yep. Karens, they're cool.
All right, then.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Shanny.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And good evening.
Welcome.
And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, go be with your family or some shit. I don't know what you do.
Go eat turkey. Good night.